going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I am your host, Nick, and boy, do we have a lot to get into today. We have a great episode for you. The very hilarious Jefferies joins us later this episode along with his wife, Tasie. Can't wait for you to hear from them. I do also have a story in a way. Also, we have GirlBossTown joining us momentarily, also known as Robyn DelMonte, your internet big sister. I don't know. She's like trendsetter. She returns the Viall Files. We love it when Robyn's on. She always has a lot of great insight on all things pop culture, and she will be joining us to break down some Love Island, which is heating up. Quick thoughts. Are we enjoying it so far relative to last season?
I'm enjoying it, not as much as I was season 6, but it's a hard act to follow.
I struggle with some of the characters.
I think we forget just how many episodes there are and like how we felt about season 6 when it first started. Like we didn't think about Leah and Rob the same way we did at the end.
Who was Janae with originally?
I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. It's so much.
She struggled for a while.
Connor. Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
I think if you're going in wanting to feel exactly about these characters, in the beginning as you did at the end, like it's apples and oranges. I don't know. I think it's promising. I'm
a Love Island virgin. This is my first season, and I'm enjoying. I thought I would.
It's fun and silly.
Yeah, I thought I would be really annoyed at the everyday aspect of it, but now I'm finding myself being like, "Ooh, it's out," and then turning it on. It's really, I'm enjoying. I'm locked in.
Well, not only is Nick the host of the Viall Files, he's also the host of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives Reunion.
Yay!
Season 2.
Yay!
Well, obviously, why would you do a reunion for season 1?
I don't know, just,
We're gonna go back in time.
You need to explain things to people. Okay. Anyways, very honored, very excited to be hosting this reunion with these incredible women. They make the job easy. They are very giving, and excited for you guys to watch it. It's a wild episode. The episode is in the bank, so to speak. I can't wait for you guys to see it. A lot to unpack. I know a lot of people have some feelings about Demi not being listed as the group amongst the group of women that attended the reunion. I will say that in a way, she is very much a part of the reunion, and in a way makes an appearance at the reunion. She's definitely not forgotten. And in a way there.
Okay. But she's also definitely not on the couch.
No, she's not physically on that couch.
Hologram?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well,
yes, a hologram. Yes.
An AI version of Demi they had AI come in and have Demi say, "I'm the star of this show."
But if you have questions about Demi's participation in season 2, that itch will be scratched very much so.
July 1st,
July
right?
1st. July 1st. So we will be kicking off your 4th of July weekend with some major fireworks. I can promise you that.
I'm so excited.
It's really good.
It's you'll laugh, you'll cry. You'll be at the edge of your seat.
Do you know what else airs in July is Bachelor in Paradise? And apparently you guys have some Bachelor Nation tea to spill.
Well, if many of you guys have known that ABC/Hulu has not picked up The Bachelor, their flagship show. The Warner Brothers, the Bachelor Nation, the entity that is Bachelor Nation that's owned by Warner Brothers has been in the news in all the wrong reasons. A lot of disarray going on there. They don't know, who's going to be running the show. And Hulu/ABC is they're doing great things. They got Mormon Wives crushing it. They're producing other shows. They don't need The Bachelor like they used to need The Bachelor. This is my understanding of what's going on. And so now ABC is kind of figure it out and let us know.
Could this be the end of an era?
No, I don't. I think they have every intention of bringing it back. I mean, the next Bachelor season will be the 30th Bachelor season. That's a big deal.
Anniversary.
And I think they have every hope and intention of bringing it back. But until Warner Brothers figures it out, about who's running it, who's show running it, what the concept is. They need to rebrand. They need to refresh.
Make changes.
Personally, I think if we're talking Bachelor, there's a huge opportunity here to really modernize the show. Let's stop with tropes of the pressure that all these cast members have to have this sad story when some of them just aren't that sad.
Yeah.
I think they need to make it modern day dating. If I were running that show, I would cast 60 women. I would announce the women. I would announce the women.
Nick's I wish I would have had more women.
No.
For my season,
he's 29 wasn't
enough for me.
It's not about that. It's not about that. But I do think they need to have the lead be somehow in some way a part of the quote unquote casting process. They need to give more shits about their lead liking more people on the show.
Okay.
I think they need to modernize the show in a way that's like gives 2025, right?
Mhm.
And when I say cast 60 some women, they're already casting that many people that go through that final stage of the process. I think they need to announce these people much sooner than when it airs. I'll put them out there. Let them get messy online. Let them make TikToks. Let the Bachelor somehow interact via text messages. I think they should allow the Bachelor to bring a phone, not necessarily their phone, but like a phone.
Like Love Island.
In a way, right? Where the show has access to all the text messages that are sent. So like the women could like text the Bachelor.
Like send a little nude
Like
from
when they're
the
on
mansion
maybe
bathroom.
send a titillating photo or send a text when they're on a date. Maybe they can actually eat their dinner. Maybe in like, you know how Bravo style where they go out and like engage with society? Why can't the Bachelor do something like that?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
instead
saying?
of the like concerts with no one else there.
Slow
like,
dancing to a
But,
performance.
Like,
Yeah.
stop making the
empty
limo
mall.
exits or reveals like the main focus at the beginning of the show. They can still do a funny thing, but like allow the conversations to start happening. Like, get these people invested in these characters far earlier than they do. They could modernize the show in the coolest way that would make it really popular. I don't know if Warner Brothers is right. They're so precious about like the success they've had in their
Yeah.
flagship
don't
show.
want to change
They're
anything.
so precious. They have fallen behind because they haven't had any competition for 20 plus years, and now that they have competition, they have fallen so far behind.
They have put all their eggs into the Golden franchise because it was such a major hit the first season with Gary. Anyways, Joan's season was obviously, everyone I think loved Joan, but now we have the new
Joan Rockstar.
We have the new Golden Bachelor. His name's Mel Owens. He was like a former NFL football player. He is 66 years old, and he went and did this random podcast that like had nothing to do with Golden Bachelor. He was talking football. Like I don't even think anyone.
He went to Michigan, so he did this random Michigan football obscure podcast. This wasn't like sanctioned. Clearly wasn't sanctioned by like anything ABC or Hulu or Warner Brothers. He just was a guy who's had a life outside of The Bachelor, right? He's a football guy. And he went on this like Michigan football podcast to talk football. But now he's since been announced and cast as the Golden Bachelor. They clearly asked him about that.
So they said when asked about his preferences in a partner, age was the first thing Mel referenced. I just said 45 to 60. Just being honest, right? The former football player admitted. And then the process went and I was selected. Then we had lunch with the executive producer and I said, if they're over 60, I'm cutting them, says a 66-year-old man. Then he says, oh no, this is not the Silver Bachelor. This is the Golden Bachelor, but they're going to be hot. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He goes, you can't use the word cut. I go, that's an NFL term. Mel said he doesn't know anything about the women who will appear on his season, which films later this year, but said he knows they're going to be beautiful. As for other qualities he's looking for, the dad of two added, they gotta be fit because I stay in shape. And I told producers, try to stay away from the artificial hips and the wigs, that kind of stuff.
Oh no.
This is your Golden Bachelor?
Oh no.
What a nightmare. Like this Warner Brothers cannot get out of their own way. Well, interestingly enough, we talked to someone like on the ABC side of thing, and they were like, when they were like excited about the casting, and they were saying how they talked to Mel, and they thought, I don't know, this guy, he looks great for his age. He could definitely date younger if he wanted to. So they had concerns like, listen, The Bachelor it's a very specific show. The Bachelor is in a way kind of also an extension of the host. It's not just about you. You're there to tell other people's stories. There's other shows for that per se, right? Like there's nothing wrong with an age gap. There's nothing wrong with if you want to date younger at 66, do that. But like this isn't the show for that. You know what I'm saying? And so they had concerns about his ability to be interested. And I was told that he specifically said to those people that he wanted to date women. He wasn't interested in dating younger. He wanted to date women his age. So did he lie to those people to get this job? And now he's going on this other like Michigan State football podcast.
Where
like,
he thinks it's like just the
like
bros.
just the guys.
Right. Well, it's like, or like think about being selected and being excited to go and then finding this information out and being like, great. So I'm cut night one. I'm 65.
Again, Mel, good for you. If you want to date younger, go and date younger. your life, you should do that. But like,
Don't
if
do
you
that.
want to accept this role, you know, this role is about helping other people tell their stories, making these women feel comfortable, not shaming them for having a hip replacement surgery, you know,
Or extensions. Like,
yeah,
what?
or maybe like experiencing some hair loss later in life and like, you know, investing in a great wig and having them feel sexy about it. Like, this is your golden bachelor.
I do fear that before, obviously, I worked here to do anything about The Bachelor, I found out about The Golden Bachelor, and my friend and I decided to watch it because we were like, well, this is going to be insane because what's going to happen is you're casting an old man, and there's only, you know, much love to all the old men out there, but there's only so much you can expect of an old man in certain opinions on things. So we were like, this is going to be insane. And then it ended up being very sweet, and then Gary ended up being Gary. But it's just kind of like, this is kind of the core issue with The Golden Bachelor, right? Is like, sometimes old men have antiquated views on women.
At least Gary, at least,
you know, and it's like, what can you do?
Well, at least Gary, he was great on camera. I've heard Mel's stiff. So not only is he antiquated, he's not.
He's an old football guy.
He's not charming.
And you expect him to be like, oh, yes,
He's a bra.
I want to see your medical
love
records. Is that
beautiful
your
aging
original
women.
hips?
It's a mess. You can't have him talking this way about their most
crazy.
precious entity.
Yeah.
It's the only thing they have left.
And it's so wholesome. Like, that's what I love about it. Exactly.
It
If he is-
was.
I'm not watching.
Yeah.
All right. Well, up next, Robyn DelMonte, also known as GirlBossTown, joins us to talk some Love Island. And then we'll get into Paige. We got some Summer House shakeup. I want to also recast The Valley since we're talking about recasting Bravo shows. We have a new Beverly Hills Housewives. A lot to get into. And later on, Jefferies returns to the Viall Files to talk some reality TV in his new show he is hosting on Fox. All coming up this episode. Up next, GirlBossTown. Well, something I've noticed as a relatively new homeowner, someone who's, you guys know that we are redoing the lake house. Blinds matter, and cheap looking blinds can really cheapen the look of your place. On the flip side, getting some great looking blinds can really elevate your indoor space.
3-Day Blinds make it so easy to do that. They are the leading manufacturer of high quality custom window treatments in the US. And right now, if you use our URL 3dayblinds.com/VIALL, they are running a buy one, get one 50% off deal. You can shop for almost anything at home. So why not shop for blinds at home too? 3-Day Blinds has local professionally trained design consultants who have an average of 10 plus years of experience that provide expert guidance on the right blinds for you in the comfort of your home. Just set up an appointment and you'll get a free, no obligation quote the same day. Also, it can be very hard to like get up on a ladder and measure and make sure it's all level and hang up the blinds yourself or the curtains yourself or whatever you're doing. 3-Day Blinds takes all of the issues out of that. They handle everything. They've been in business for over 45 years and they have helped over 2 million people get the window treatments of their dreams, so they are a brand you can trust. Right now, get a quality window treatments that fit your budget with 3-Day Blinds. Head to 3dayblinds.com/VIALL for their buy one, get one 50% off deal on custom blinds, shades, shutters, and drapery for a free, no charge, no obligation consultation. Just head to 3dayblinds.com/VIALL. One last time, that's buy one, get one 50% off when you head to the number 3 dayblinds.com/VIALL.
Learning a new language has never been easier thanks to the great people at Rosetta Stone. It's also a great way to invest in yourself. The world is becoming more and more bicultural, bilingual. People are traveling more. And boy, it's a lot more fun to travel when you can speak at least just a little bit of the native language of whatever country you go to.
I also have to say my aunt has lived in Spain for all of my life, majority of her life. She has 2 daughters. I have 2 cousins who are Spaniards, and I did not speak a lick of Spanish until I downloaded Rosetta Stone. It's so easy. You're able to learn faster, retain longer. Rosetta Stone immerses you in your new language naturally, helping you think and communicate with confidence. So there's no English translation, so you truly learn to speak, listen, and think in your chosen language. An intuitive learning process. You start with words, you build to phrases, and you progress to full sentences. It's designed for long-term retention, so what you learn sticks with you.
They're trusted language experts with 30 years of experience, millions of users, and 25 languages offered. Rosetta Stone is the go-to language learning solution. Whether it's Spanish, French, Italian, German, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Dutch, and more, Rosetta Stone is your go-to solution for learning a new language.
You can learn anytime, anywhere. Rosetta Stone fits your lifestyle and is flexible. You can learn on the go. So maybe you're like sitting in the car wash, like might knock out a couple of sentences. You'll learn some phrases. Don't wait. Unlock your language learning potential now. The Viall Files listeners can grab Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. That's unlimited access to 25 language courses for life. Visit www.rosettastone.com/VIALL to get started and claim your 50% off today. Don't miss. Go to rosettastone.com/VIALL and start learning today.
Well, obviously, one of the most meaningful things I get to do on the show is hear people's stories about their relationships and problems they have, and hopefully try to help them from time to time. But sometimes it doesn't feel like I'm able to help. And there was this one listener who recently wrote in. They wrote in and said, I love my partner, but I have zero interest in sex. It's killing me. I feel broken. Well, first off, obviously, we know she is not. We've had this conversation on the show before. It could be biological. It could be your brain chemistry at play.
Luckily, there's a little pink pill called Addyi. It's the first FDA-approved treatment for frustrating low libido in certain premenopausal women. It's not about fixing you. It's about helping you feel like you. So go to Addyi.com to learn more. That's ADDYI.com and get back to feeling like yourself.
Addyi, or flibanserin, is for premenopausal women with acquired generalized hypoactive sexual desire disorder, HSDD, who have not had problems with low sexual desire in the past, who have had low sexual desire no matter the type of sexual activity, the situation, or the sexual partner. This low sexual desire is troubling to them and is not due to a medical or mental health problem, problems in the relationship, or medicine or other drug use. Addyi is not for use in children, men, or to enhance sexual performance. Your risk of severe low blood pressure and fainting is increased if you drink 1 to 2 standard alcoholic drinks close in time to your Addyi dose. Wait at least 2 hours after drinking before taking Addyi at bedtime. This risk increases if you take certain prescriptions, OTC or herbal medications, or have liver problems, and can happen when you take Addyi without alcohol or other medicines. Do not take if you are allergic to any of Addyi's ingredients. Allergic reaction may include hives, itching, or trouble breathing. Sometimes serious sleepiness can occur. Common side effects include dizziness, nausea, tiredness, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, and dry mouth. See full PI and medication guide, including boxed warning, at addyi.com/PI.
Robyn, welcome back to the show.
I'm so excited to be here. You guys were one of the first podcasts I've done. This is my third time. Third time's a charm.
Third time's
You know
a
what I mean?
charm.
So I'm very excited.
I don't feel like I've been.
What's been
I
your
wasn't
favorite?
here for either of them.
Right? Well, I mean, we had the iconic Peter moment where he came in for the interview so sweaty and.
Oh, you were there
Yes,
that day?
I was there.
Oh my God. Peter from Vanderpump. Peter.
Yes, during Scandal. And,
During Scandal, and he was out there just ripping shots at 10 a.m.
Yes, and then came in and just like let it go, and I was like, okay, here we are. And I'm a VPR girly, and now I see him at the Grove a lot. I don't go up
Sorry
and say
for putting
anything.
you in that position. I didn't like
But it's so funny because everybody in the room was kind of like, okay, this is happening, but we like can't say anything. And then he left and we were like, okay, I think a producer came over with wet wipes and was like wiping down the microphone. I was like, okay, let's move on
everyone
from
okay?
that. But it was great entertainment. No hate to Peter. I mean,
Wow.
he really let it all out. So I think that was my favorite. But going into this and speaking about Love Island, I'm a Love Island girly, so I'll be excited to see how this one comes out as well.
Well, you're like known as the internet's big sister. You made a name for yourself for the people who
thank
don't
you.
know, just making just wildly accurate predictions about all
was
things
your
pop
most
culture.
recent one confirmed the La Boo Boos?
La Boo Boo. I predicted La
predicted
Boo Boos and Addison Rae in 2021 in the same week. And then both of those kind of came true within the same week, which I think you can say is trend cycling. But you know what? I'll give my prediction ability.
I
of
mean,
it as well.
it's funny. I was actually talking to Natalie this weekend about Addison Rae. Be like, how did she do it? What, back in the pandemic, you had this wave of TikTok stars. You know, it was like all these TikTok stars. They had just millions of followers. But it ended up being kind of almost for most of them kind of worthless. You know, and now most of them have just disappeared. These massive creators, but Addison Rae is one of the few who have like made a phenomenal music career out of it.
Yeah, and I was an Addison fan from the start. And obviously, a lot of those TikTok creators who became big in 2020 became big half from tweens, but half from hate. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like everybody was like, what is this dancing on the internet? So the hate really boosted their stardom, which I mean is smart. But I was an OG Addison girly and she knew it. So she's like taken me out to dinner and we have like been in contact this whole time. And the whole time I was like, she's going to be a star. Just when we'd walk into like Tower Bar, which is like an old Hollywood establishment, the energy would just shift. Like eyes would just shift. And I'd be like, this girl's a star. Like I know it. And so I'm so happy for her success. And I think her working with Lexi Smith, who's like kind of like her muse, her best friend, her dancer, really just like helped create it, but it's insane. I also think Charlie D'Amelio, everybody's talking about the Addison Rae renaissance. I think Charlie being on Broadway and doing what she's doing is like so admirable, so perfect for her.
Yeah.
She seems so happy. So yeah, the 2020 girlies who like rose above Addison and Charlie, I'm happy for them. But yeah, it's crazy. I feel like Addison's gonna be it and is massive.
I say the same thing about my wife about she's a star when I walk into her room.
Exactly.
So
but you can
sweet.
tell
She is a star.
that type of energy. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, pop
You're
star?
feeling it. You're
Pop
feeling
star?
the pop star
Yeah.
energy.
People
Yes,
don't know
I'm
yet,
giving
but
it to
she's doing
you.
big things that I'm excited for people to find out about.
Well, she
Yeah,
is.
she's,
Yes.
I do want to ask you, what do you make of Justin Bieber right now?
Okay.
It's giving a little Britney Spears Dancing with Knives.
Okay. So another thing, I don't know if you guys know, my Instagram started as like a Justin Bieber fan account. I don't think a lot of people know this, like back in the day.
And we are also just, big fans. We
Yes,
were at a,
yes.
we were at a big
Massive.
Christmas party.
I think I've like heard
What
you
was
speak about
your
this.
name? Was it different? Like, did you have like a
I won't say the name of
okay,
what
okay,
it was
okay.
because
Bieber heart?
I'm like, I love Bieber 24/7. No, but I was like
24/7.
there from Common Denominator. I was there
Wow.
from Mall Tour. Like I was an OG Bieber girly.
My first time in New York, I was 28 years old, and my girlfriend and I at the time, we got David Letterman tickets. We were true tourists because we stayed in Times Square. We got offered David Letterman tickets. We went there, and I was like, who's the musical guest? They're like, well, yesterday it was Michael Bublé. I was like, bum. And they're like, well, it's this guy named Justin Bieber. He was like 16 at the time, came out. Ben Stiller was like the main host, and Bieber came out, and I was like, this motherfucker can perform. And I was a fan since then. And then a couple years ago, now that I went to a Christmas party that he was at, and he was so lovely.
Oh.
Complimented my sweater.
Yeah.
I asked where I got it. Was so just an absolute sweetheart.
Hugged us goodbye. Was
Yeah.
so kind.
Just
I've met
wonderful.
him and Haley, and the kindest, sweetest, nicest people. When it comes to what's currently going on with Justin, I think that there's two aspects to it. I think that he is a creative genius, and like he literally was playing the drums at age 2. Like his brain works differently than everybody else. I truly believe that. And I think when you are so talented, you see the world very differently. And then to go through all of that at a young age, you're going to have a lot on your brain mentally going through it. And I think that right now, what he is going through is definitely a lot, but I'm not going to point fingers and be like, oh, I think it's this, I think it's this, I think it's this, because I'm not in any place
Right.
to do it. But I do think that in like 5 years, we will have the renaissance of Free Britney, where people are going to be like, wait, I feel bad. We shouldn't have been doing that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
He's been.
I mean, he dropped Drew House, right?
Yes.
And now he has Skylar.
well, even like the Scooter Braun of it all, like that man in a sense helped like raise him in so many ways, and then he fell apart with that, and then the Drew House of it all, and now he's with Skylark, and he's working closely with Eddie Benjamin, who is another like creative genius. He dated Maddie Ziegler. He's an artist. And I just feel like he's going through a lot of spiritual awakenings, so we're letting that happen, but I'll always love him. I'll always
Right,
be a
of
fan.
course.
Meanwhile, his wife's a new billionaire. So
Yes,
everything's
that's
fine.
also
Everything's fine.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, when he posts on Instagram, I'm kind of like, okay, like I think maybe we should like put the phone down right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we all go through those moments. You see me
We-
tomorrow, I'm like having like all my stories. Yeah.
We're like, Robyn, put the phone down.
Put the phone down.
But you're
I
right.
have
I
to.
mean, as a
Yeah.
creative genius, like I don't know, there's certain things that like it always reminded me like when my first time I was on The Bachelor.
Mhm.
We expected different from our reality TV stars than our like major like musician
Mhm.
creative geniuses. Like we don't want our reality TV stars to be trendsetters.
No, yeah, no.
Like
no.
we don't want them showing up taking fashion risks.
Of
It's like,
course.
what the fuck are you doing?
Yes.
I tried that. People are like, absolutely not.
Yes.
When it comes to like Harry Styles, they're like, oh no, yeah, pop off, King. Let's
Exactly.
try that off. It's like
Yeah.
a completely, and we have to let our stars take risks.
Yes, exactly. I also think when your creativity turns into a career and there's pressure on it, it shifts things. So it's like everybody's expecting so much of him, and he's just kind of wanting to go through this own journey. So we'll see. I will predict in 5 years there's going to be like a Free Britney renaissance, being like, oh my God, like I can't believe we were that hard on him, especially after everything he's gone through. So we'll
And
see.
any other kind of pop culture like things that you're really focusing on right now, or things out there that people should start paying attention to?
Okay, so a lot of people come to me as creative, predicting all these things, but I'm also just like a normal pop culture girly. Like I love Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I love all of the reality TV shows like Love Island that we're about to speak about. But I will say with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I've been like looking at it at a more granular level. And I think that Taylor Frankie Paul, did you hear what the producer, the director said about her?
He has like
Snooki.
Kardashian. Oh, Snooki.
He
Or
was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
reality TV people come and go, but like I think that like she is a star.
Oh,
Like
she's 100%
she is gonna be like a Snooki, like a Kim, where it's like exudes beyond this reality TV level.
I can tell you because she's both a star and a professional. And I said this before they announced that I was hosting the reunion. But like,
which is amazing.
it's
and everybody. I'm not sure. Like, don't read the comments. Everybody was like, "This is so right for you to host that
thank you.
reunion."
Yeah.
I think it's so smart because reunions sometimes are just like to blow smoke up people's asks, and you'll ask the questions.
I appreciate it. I'm very excited. It's been a dream of mine. But before we recorded the reunion, and I've interviewed a lot of different people on the show or whatever, and reality TV stars. Obviously, it can be nerve wracking. It's like you want to make good TV, but you don't want to be called out for your behavior. And Taylor came up to me and she's like, challenge us, push us. Like, that no one's like, there's no reality TV star that I've ever interviewed other than Taylor Frankie Paul has ever like said that to me because she understands like the assignment. She's not afraid. She can be authentic. She knows that she can be a little toxic and messy. She can be accountable for her decisions. And she's an absolute star. And like she's one of the very few reality TV stars I ever met with that type of quality.
Yeah, no, I'm obsessed with her, and I love how on the show it's weird because it's like you said, she can be messy, she can be drama, but you like can't hate her, which I think is like
because
so,
she owns it.
Yeah, exactly.
So many other stars will like be
Housewife
messy
syndrome.
and kind of
Can't
like
own it.
and pretend that like we're the ones who are delusional as fans, and it's like, and you're like, what? And Taylor's like, no, I mean, just like I'm just gonna. This is who I am, and this is what you asked of me, and I'm giving it to you, and just. But she
it's her full transparency.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the times housewives come on and it's like they have a persona that they want to put out there and things that they don't want to get exposed. Where I'm like, Taylor specifically, I feel like it's just like, well, here's my baggage, here's my drama, here's what's happening today. And like she's not sugarcoating anything or trying to hide anything, which makes it that much more endearing.
Because I also feel like a lot of housewives have husbands who have reputations and it's kind of like, don't you go on there and like air out your dirty laundry.
Yeah. And I also think that like there could be a college course, there are, speaking about reality TV and perception. Because it's like at first people went on reality TV and they were authentically themselves, like the Jersey Shore. It blew up. We loved them for being messy.
Right.
Then there came the 2016 renaissance where influencer marketing came into the picture. So it's like, okay, not only do I want to be myself and get a following, but I also want to be perceived as somebody who can like get brand deals, who can work, who can turn mainstream. So they were aware of their perception.
Yeah.
Then it kind of went in the opposite way where they're like, the messier, more chaotic I am, the better. So it's like once perception came into the picture with reality TV, it shifted things and it became very difficult to actually be yourself and be marketable at the same time. And she has that, which I think might be the problem with Love Island USA, but we'll go into that when we talk about it.
I would say I would say most of her, like Taylor's definitely top of her game, but to the credit to the rest of the women as well, I think as a collective, that group shares that sentiment. I think Taylor might be the best at it, but I think a lot of the women have learned from her. And to that point, like they found a group of women who understand their job first is to be reality TV stars. And that's why, like most internet personalities, TikTokers, they've tried to make a lot of internet stars, reality TV stars, and have fallen flat. And these women are the exception to the rule, and their exception to the rule is because there's so much personality behind them, and they're willing to show it. Where you go online, you can make a 15-second TikTok. You don't have to have that much of a personality. You just have to have the ability to like re-record it to get it right, so to speak.
And then one last thing. So, have you interviewed Brooke Snyder?
No.
Okay, so when we were at that event that I saw you guys at, I interviewed her and her sisters, and they have like a sister reality TV show coming out, to your point.
On Hulu.
So many people try to come out with these shows. The producers that I was working with, after they left the room, was like, I think there's something there. And I 100% agree. And like, I didn't really necessarily watch Dancing with the Stars. I know that she was an influencer. I know that she was in that relationship. She's gorgeous. The sisters, when they walked in, had such OG Kardashian sister energy. Like they were bickering during the interview in a way that was like so real. And like I'm one of 4 sisters too. And I was like, okay, I feel like everybody thinks this show isn't going to do something, but I weirdly got energy of like, if this is done right, I think there's something
that makes
here.
sense. I mean,
so I want to put that on camera because it was literally like the way they were bickering during the interview was like, are you wearing my shirt? Like, you know, these sister
Wow,
energy. Like,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it was
yeah.
real. And I was like, okay, I think if they capture this right, I
But
think we might be good.
That's the point, right? Because
Yeah.
so many reality TV stars right now will not do that. They'll
Exactly.
show up to the event and be like, don't, I'm like, not here."
Exactly.
And then they'll do like some kind of like forced scene. It feels
Yes.
forced. And it's just like, that's what we're getting from the Valley right now. It's just like, what are we doing here? Is this,
Yes.
is this a scene? I don't fucking know. Like, so if
Valley is a social experiment.
if they're really
It's so
trying to
dark.
do that, then you're right.
Yeah, I
It
literally
could
was like,
definitely
okay, I
be
want
a
to put that
hit.
out there. I mean, I feel like people don't have like the highest of hopes for it, but I literally, even the producers that I was with were like, okay, that was energy. Like, I don't know what that was, but that was energy.
Do you watch the Valley?
I do watch The Valley.
I think I love the concept. I think they recast most of the people.
What is your most controversial Valley opinion?
I think most of them are losers.
But isn't that what made Vanderpump Rules amazing?
No, because what Vanderpump was a bunch of young people who it was the Hollywood dream story, and we gave them grace because
Yeah, 'cause
they
I
were
feel
like
now they're parents.
they're like
It's now you have
21,
kids
22-year-old.
involved.
We
Yeah.
allowed them to fuck up. And when I say loser, I don't mean like for Kristen's on that show. I don't think she's a loser at all. We love Kristen Doty.
She is the best.
Yeah.
Because we've watched Kristen grow up on TV and we've watched her be vulnerable. We've watched her account for her mistakes. Now she is about to give birth to her first baby. Her partner Luke is a stand-up guy, a good guy. We've seen growth, right? Jax and Brittany, they're losers. And I say that because it's the same shit over and over. There's no growth. It's just the same darkness.
Especially because it's recorded of no growth. It's
Right.
like, we have watched you
Yeah.
for 12 years. Like, every reunion, it became the joke of being like, well, I'm working on myself now. And Andy would be like, okay. Again,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
here we go.
But
Like,
the
yeah.
Kardashians will show you messy, they'll show you drama, but they are aspirational. They are not losers. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They show you the drama and the fun and the messiness, but you also want to be them. There's nothing about Brooks or Jax or Jesse Lolly that is aspirational. It's just it's just sad people who can't get out of their own way.
I think especially with the men on Bravo. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
the men-
there's going to be a whole dissertation about this. I mean, Lexi not getting asked back to Summer House. I know people have different opinions on that.
We love
I
her.
like
Yeah.
Lexi. I feel like, by the way, in 2016 when I moved to LA before I moved back home, I feel like I used to see her out in the clubs and stuff like that. Like, I specifically remember her, and I remember being like, that girl's stunning. I liked her on Summer House. I love all the Summer House girlies. I'm close with Paige, but it's her not being asked back. It's okay, I'm not a producer. I don't get this. But the men that just continue to get asked back on Bravo, I'm like, I don't want to start the Andy favors men rhetoric, but it's kind of why are we putting all these men in Bravo in such a position of power and then being like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that to their wives and girlfriends.
Yeah.
Because it's we're putting them there, by the way,
there's-
guys. We're literally
exactly.
putting them in this position. And I think, especially when it comes to the Valley, it's no. They're old and they're still doing this and we're eating it up, ? I agree. I think it's weird, but I love Kristen. She's like a Taylor Frankie Paul, where it's I'm going to be messy and literally be messy, but then is somewhat weirdly lovable.
She has a good heart,
and you can tell, and she always has.
Yes.
And she always has. I agree.
I
Love
would put
Kristen.
Lala back on the Valley.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
has an interesting backstory. She's
Lala
definitely
right
not a
now,
loser.
yeah, her living in this what she calls her pod with her mom and her brother, raising her two children is
But she
such
makes
a cool
moves,
dynamic.
She shows growth. She might make mistakes. She might fuck up, but there's just
I need someone who can put somebody in their place on that show.
Yeah.
And I feel like Lala's the only
And they're
one
having
that can do
Brittany
that.
do that, and it's this is not.
It's too heightened.
Yeah.
It's too emotional.
every time she speaks, I'm call someone out. I'm like, deal with your shit first. I don't
Yeah.
you're too tragic to call
Yeah.
anyone out. It's,
And I give grace too. It's I've had addiction in my family. I can't even imagine dealing with that. But it's exactly. It's let's maybe turn inward and kind of just figure this out.
because
So-
it's you feel bad for her, but then she says things like,
Yep.
I kind of wanted him to fight for me.
Yeah.
It's babe, fight for you.
Yeah. No, I know.
You've got to get out of
And
this.
I
you're shocked he didn't pay rent.
yeah.
Who?
And
who-
I think
who have you-
I think there's ways to show addiction on Bravo and to show kind of dysfunctional, Mary Cosby. I don't know if you guys watch
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Mary Cosby and her son, that
was so brave.
genuinely hits close to home to me and my family situation. I was like, this is such a respectful way of doing this, but also letting the audience in, which is so vulnerable. And I respect how that whole situation was done, but now it's it's being used as not Utah, but the Valley, it's being used as a drama indicator. And it's that shouldn't be pointed at as oh my God, this drama next week. It's no, that should be that's sad. Let's not do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know. I completely agree with you.
But props to Paige. I mean, I love someone who leaves out on top. Like she's
the best. And Paige,
Mhm.
I did a long audition process with her for something for like a year, and we had a bunch of chemistry reads, and she is somebody that is completely herself when the cameras are on, off. She has the it factor. I think that her PJ line, Daphne, like I obviously when influencers or creators come out with lines, we're like, oh, it's another one. I think it's gonna be very big, like a base, like a road. I think she's business savvy. I love her, and I love somebody who goes out on top. I love it because you have to know. And she didn't make it like this is my last season.
Yeah.
The whole season. She was kind of like, okay, so I did that and I'm leaving. And it makes sense because it's like she wants to sit in bed like I fucking do too. Like I'm not going to go to a party house.
But
You know
where's
what I mean?
Summer,
Right,
where's
right.
Summer House go from here? Like Carl did not leave. There was like a fake announcement. I was actually happy for Carl when I saw the fake announcement.
Mhm.
After watching the Lexi and Jesse of it all wrap up of part 1 and bled
Mhm.
into part 2, there wasn't like I wasn't that interested in the rest of part 2. There's no
Yeah.
Amanda and Kyle, like, will they, won't they have a kid someday? Again, that's just nothing.
Yeah,
new,
I think
you know?
that I saw on Brianna Chicken Fry's like TikTok or story that like she was talking to Summer House people at one point. But I
Okay.
think there's a way in
That'd be
which
fun.
I think Danny Pellegrino said it, have like a Sex in the City like show
Mhm.
with the people in the city during the week, running businesses, having drama. Like I would watch that because like
Amen.
whenever they're in the
Totally.
city, they're doing more than when they're in the Hamptons,
That's
and
lit.
they can film more places. And then do a separate Summer House that's kind of like more of a Love Island-y audience, like a not younger, but like a I want to go out and be messy, which is
And
what
like
Summer
hook up with
and
people.
hook up with
and-
people,
yeah.
and then stop and go for the other guy in the house.
Right.
Like I think it needs to be that.
I think it's okay to also say younger too, because I'm
Yeah.
like that we grew up with the cast. It's
Yeah.
what 10 seasons, 9 seasons in. Then
Yeah.
I'm like they're all well in their 30s. They're
Mhm.
established. They're having kids. They're getting married. They're starting businesses. That I'm like that's the real stuff
Yeah.
that we would want to be seeing in our demographic. But I feel like when I started watching the show, I was in their age demographic, and I was like, yes,
Yeah.
party, the mess, the
Right.
making out in the pantry.
And I've never been to the Hamptons, but I watch the Hamptons every weekend on my Instagram stories from every influencer. So it's like there's an audience out there
Yes.
who's doing that stuff. Like you know what I mean? Like
Surf
I
Lodge is pumping.
Yeah, I know Surf Lodge has those chicken tender towers. I've never been there because I watch it on my
I've
stories.
never been to
So
the Hamptons either.
Me
I haven't
yeah.
either.
We
I
should
hate
all take a
waiting
trip
in-
to the
Yes.
Hamptons.
I hate waiting in line.
Same.
And not in a pretentious way, but in like a way where it's like, okay, like waiting in line for like 2 hours, and then you go and stand in like a room, and you're like, okay, like, well, like, what am I really doing?
Yep.
And then I here everything's like really far away. I feel like it kind of reminds me of like a stagecoach or a Coachella where the parties are like an hour away.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, this is I like my bed. I like to be
Inconvenient
comfort-
fun.
Yeah, inconvenient fun. Or it's like the pregame is always more fun than the event.
Yeah.
Because then you're like in the Uber on the way there, and you're like,
Sobering
so
up.
fun.
I'm bored.
like you know what I mean? You're just like, yeah, and then you get there and you're like, what am I doing?
Did anyone watch Sirens?
Yes,
I
I, did.
started
Oh my
it.
god, we
Yeah.
just
finished
finished it last night.
No.
I think it was so. Also, the
Second to
the,
last episode was awesome. I didn't love the ending. Though.
the
So good.
actress from the UK who was in House of the Dragon. She's the younger sister.
She plays Simone.
Simone. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen in her interviews.
She's British.
She's British.
Yeah.
And she's also like the complete opposite of her character. She's so like in interviews, somebody will be like, when you signed up for House of the Dragon, do you think it was gonna be like Game of Thrones? She's like, not really. Like did anybody say we were trying to be like that? I don't know. Like whatever. She's so
No PR
like,
training?
not media trained in the best
Love.
way.
I love that.
She's definitely she's playing Supergirl. I'm not into Marvel or those like superhero movies, but I think she's gonna have like a big Jennifer Lawrence.
Mm.
I'm relatable on a carpet, and I'm a good actress. Rise to fame,
Yeah.
and I'm here for that for her. I like her.
Did you just see they just posted it, Harris Dickinson doing the road mist spray campaign?
No.
He's,
Oh
like,
my god, I
the
didn't
new-
see that.
Yeah.
I like him.
I like him too.
Is he gonna be in the new Beatles movie? I believe.
I believe
I actually think he is, yeah.
Which I'm so excited for because I'm a Paul Mescal girly.
Live free, die.
and speaking of the UK, and speaking of Love Island, I want to move to the UK more than anything. I love it there. I try to go as much as I can. And I think JoJo Siwa being a UK TV personality makes the most sense
Mhm.
of anything I've ever seen in my life. The Chris Hughes of it all, I'm sure you guys will hang out with Chris Hughes or have met him. I was an OG Chris Hughes fan. I watched Love Island season 3 live.
So what do you think of this relationship?
Okay, so I just
his ex came out and said she's really famous. That was her response.
Olivia the ex,
Yeah.
probably. So
Yeah.
I love Olivia. I'm an OG Love Island UK girl. So his season, I don't know if you guys have watched it. You need to go and watch it, especially if you get have surgery or get your tonsils out or something. It's a good one where you can sit and just watch the whole thing. It shifted the tone of Love Island forever in a positive way. It's so good. I think the relationship is a little weird, but I'm happy because I think she belongs in the UK, especially from a media perspective. I feel like in the UK, being weird and quirky and yourself and creative and changing all the time is people eat that up. It's not looked up as oh my God, that's weird. They're like, okay, cool. Anyways, let's go to the pub. I don't really give a shit, but this is entertaining. You know what I mean? They wouldn't dive into she wore this, So I'm happy for her. I do think it's a little weird just because I love Dance Moms and I love Love Island UK. And I'm thinking at the times that those came out, I'm I would have literally never in a million years put this together. But I'm happy. I think that it's so smart. Not that it was planned, you know what I mean,
Right.
for her to be a big UK TV personality,
But it makes sense.
it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So much
She
sense.
seems really happy.
And I don't blame her
She
for
does
wanting
seem
to
happy, yeah.
be there. Yeah. It's just
I look forward to meeting him.
you guys need to watch Love Island season 3.
Yeah, we do.
It shifted everything because before that, Love Island was a raunchy show.
Yeah.
People would hook up on top of the beds and everybody would stand around and watch. It was so raunchy. And they would
Smoking
drink they would drink
cigarettes.
all day, smoke cigarettes. And then Love Island season 3 became so big because of the cast. The cast from that all became household names, major media stars. Chris's ex is a huge TV personality. So they changed the age, level or grade of the TV show so more families could watch it after that season because it became so big. And that's why they can't smoke cigarettes on screen anymore over there.
And
And don't drink as
drinking.
much because that season was so big. But watch it. It's incredible.
Well, this is a great segue to get into Love
Yes.
Island.
Mhm.
So obviously we have the beginning of season 7. Season 6 was an absolute behemoth.
Smash.
What are you thinking so far? Do you think it's living up to the hope and hype? It's more hope, I guess,
Mhm.
than hype, just obviously because season 6 was such an anomaly. I'm
Yes.
watching it early on, pretty optimistic. And I'm trying to have patience because one, there's 30, so many episodes. I think we forget how much time it takes for some character
Yep.
arcs to happen.
Yep.
We didn't think of Leah and Rob
No.
in the beginning of the season of season 6 as we thought of them at the end of season 6.
Mhm.
There was a lot of who are these people? I'm not sure. Rob caught some heat from jumping in the pool, yada, yada, yada. It took some time. What are your thoughts?
So, as a Love Island enthusiast, I've watched all of UK, all of Australia, now US. I got flown to Fiji in 2023 when they were really trying to push Love Island USA. I went to the villa. I talked to the showrunners. I saw how the sauce was made. And I gave my point of view of what I think could happen or should be done. And then Love Island USA exploded. I'm happy for it. But my point to that is there's a formula to Love Island. And I think audiences from the USA aren't used to that. So they're like, wait, why isn't this last season? There's a formula. You have to wait it out. Weeks 3 and 4 always pop off. The cast saw more of it all. So
Mhm.
although you also can't compare seasons.
Yeah.
Love Island UK is every season is different for a reason, but that's what makes it great. I will say when I tell people in the UK I love Love Island, they're like, oh, I watch it too. But it's kind of like a Jersey Shore. It's still kind of seen as not trashy, but oh, that's reality TV, which is what makes it good because the people who go on aren't I'm a brand.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think the USA is already turning into people coming on being I'm a brand, which is my biggest critique.
I mean,
and they
Ace is a YouTube star.
yeah. And they did pick people for the most part who have lower followings, but you could tell
Yeah.
they're all I'm a star already, which is my biggest critique about USA. I think it'll be good. I'm always Love Island USA, not hater, but I'm very critical. And I tell everybody, I'm please watch UK and then watch USA to really understand it and take it in. But I think there's stuff there. I think there's meat there. And I think I like the first week. And I'm kind of a hater when it comes to USA and I was enjoying it.
I mean, I thought the first elimination had way more stakes than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Usually the first couple eliminations, you're it was kind of obvious. But between Belldasha.
Belldasha.
She had star potential.
I have something to say about Belldasha. Her thing on Instagram is Isabel Ann. So I'm is the A?
Rebrand.
A rebrand.
And-
She's rebranding.
You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
was that purposeful? Here's what's gonna happen with Belldasha, and you can literally put millions of dollars on it. She's gonna come back as a Casa Amor girl. It's gonna be this week. They're gonna bring in somebody for Sierra. That's gonna like be like, oh, so what is his name's Nick, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, Nick's now gonna be like, well, I know what I put you through, and I really do want to be with you. And she's like, well, you didn't pick me right away, so I have to explore my options. She's gonna have a guy. She's gonna pick him at the end. Then
Nick
the third,
or the new guy?
Nick. The third week is gonna be them. Okay, now we can finally be together. Now that we don't have two other people in the picture. Fourth week's gonna be Casa Amor. They're gonna bring in Belldasha. That's what's gonna happen. Mark my words. Clip this, put it on Instagram.
You're welcome.
That's pretty good.
But that is what's gonna
Makes too
happen.
much-
It's happened on Love Island UK before, where like kind of somebody with a lot of potential gets eliminated
Is it Molly?
the first week. What?
Is it Molly?
Like,
Yeah.
But I didn't like that they brought her back.
I didn't expect that to happen. No.
But yeah, that's gonna happen. But I loved her. I thought she
Yeah.
was so cute.
I
She was
struggled with her
quirky.
in the first couple episodes. I mean, she spoke TikTok. She made me feel like I was a boomer. I mean, the amount of stuff
But-
that she was saying, I'm
Everybody
like,
did.
no, yeah. No.
But that's
Type
what
shit?
that's what works though. It's like it's weird.
Lulu. I'm like, what? Where are we?
It's unique. It's different. You're like you think you hated it first, and then you're like,
yeah.
and then you're like, there's something there, and you're like, I can't believe she's gone because either way, we talked about her. You know what I'm
We
saying?
definitely
While we
talked about
watched her, we paid attention to Belldasha.
It's like she spoke in Morse code, though.
Yes. Oh, I think I watched Love Island UK and I'm like, oh, the way they speak, their lingo is like, I think like that's just UK lingo. But then in my head, I'm like, oh, is that their version of like Gen Z lingo? Because when I'm watching this, I'm like, I'm 31 and but I'm with the kids. I'm on TikTok, like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what are they saying?
That is me.
But it's in a way where it's like, that's where I think it's a little on brand because they'll be like, girl, like, they'll say it as it's like a slogan. I'm like, are they trying to make a TikTok sound out of this? Like, don't you feel like sometimes they're trying to make a
100%, yes.
TikTok sound out of it? I'm like, okay, but
Do you think Shelly and Ace are playing the long game?
no. So by the way, Shelly looks like Halle
Oh, yeah.
Bailey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. All the
Gorgeous.
girls this season.
Gorgeous.
Stunning.
Literally, I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like, breathtaking. I predict that Ace is going to find his girl in Casa Amor. I think they're going to play this like little long game here and there up until then. But I think he has Casa Amor girly written all over him in a way that's like going to work out in the end. Not like he's going to like leave and then like come back. I feel like it seems very calculated. You know what I mean? But I feel like, I don't know. Am I the only one who doesn't see them together? I think it's like, it's too perfect. It's too like, oh my God, invisible string. Everybody wants them together. And everybody in the comments I see on Instagram is like, why didn't he pick her, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not really rooting for them. I don't know.
Really? I just feel like
You rooting for them?
they seem to be the two smartest people in the group. And
In
like,
what way?
there's some of the other conversations like they're just a little, it's more like, who's the girl that Ace picked?
Amaya.
Amaya. And then who's the Florida boy?
Austin.
When they talk, it's like, I get these people. They just laugh,
Yeah.
they goof.
Yeah.
It's like, it seemed like Shelly and Ace like would have like deeper conversations and they
Mm-hmm.
seemed to like enjoy that about each other. And it seemed like they could really have an emotional relationship that I don't feel like I see with Ace and
Yeah. Do you
Amaya.
ever put on your producer hat though? Like sometimes I have a producer lens on when I'm looking at it and I'm like, the producers saw the audience, because this is filmed in real time and posted in like real time essentially. They saw, oh my God, they knew each other in the outside world.
Mhm.
Let's tap into this. The audience loves
Mm.
this. So we're going to show them having these deep conversations because we want to push that narrative. And whether they get together or they don't, that's going to cause
That's true. Because
drama.
I was pissed when he didn't pick.
Exactly. So I think that, but Austin is, why do I weirdly like not hate Austin? I don't know. Like, I think
Oh my
that
God.
like, he's so weird. It's like, I can't understand him. So maybe that's why I'm like, I can't hate him because I don't understand him. Like, I'm like, this is just
Boy fucks.
bizarre. And I weirdly think, because maybe it's because I like Shelly and Shelly still kind of likes him. So I'm like, is there something there? I don't know. It's weird. But
Someone said he looks like someone drew Justin Hartley from memory.
well,
And that
1000%.
And Nick is like the Walter Goggins. He also
Walton.
looks like Walton.
He needed a pimple patch.
Oh my God. I'm like, none of these girls can cover him with a star face pimple patch.
know.
Because
He's
he's
bigger
being
throughout the
evil.
episode.
I know.
Huge.
Literally. I was
I'm like,
oh
these
my-
girls are fighting over this man with his pimple. It's crazy.
Literally. But speaking of him, okay, this is controversial. I know everybody was mad at him for not picking Belldasha.
Oh,
And
I wanted him to pick Sierra.
But I also I think it is a little bit of like, it's week 1 and like he was put in that position. I don't necessarily, and this is not pick me because trust me, I fucking hate men. Like, hear me out. But like, I don't
Safe space. I hate men.
Yeah.
Safe space.
But I don't think he's like a bad guy or like an asshole. Like, I think
I think it was a little manipulative on the side of like, she wasn't here to kiss.
Mhm.
And then you took her up to Soul Ties and you were like, let's run back 4th base. Like
Yeah.
you got her to kiss you again.
Yeah.
And then giving that speech, he's like, that whole, we shared that special moment, pause. She's like, and he goes, in the photo booth. Crushed her.
There is this one thing I noticed with young men on dating shows, and I think Viall, like Jesse Solomon did a little bit. The way they fuck up and do these women dirty, and then immediately like forgive the women for something. Taylor, he was like after.
This pissed me off.
Yeah, he goes, well, I forgive you to our Alandria. You know, she talked to him. He came up to her afterward, and he was like, yeah, no, I forgive you for how you. It's like, why you forgive her for what? Nick said this, some version of that to, I think either Sierra or Belldasha, where it's like these guys immediately like turning on these women as if like these women did something wrong. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
this is also what I think USA lacks. I feel like in UK, the male friendships and the men that go on that show are likable.
Yeah.
And I feel like on USA, the men are villainized right off the bat because they're doing stupid shit. And I'm like, ew, I hate you already. Like, I don't even like you. Like, what are you doing? And like, especially like when they would like win a challenge or band together, or they all stood up and left all the girls on the couch. I'm like, they're not really likable. And like, maybe they think that doing that is gonna like give them a story arc, or like maybe the producers think that that's what we want to see. But I'm also kind of like, yeah, it never paints them in a good light. I don't think they know what they're doing. But then when they do sweet things, I'm like, oh, they're only doing this because they want to look like the good guy. So I'm like, I can't win as an audience member.
Yeah.
why don't the women like Charlie more? I feel like he's hot as fuck.
My number one.
No, I'm
She's my number
Charlie.
one.
Yeah.
He's my
I
number
don't
one.
get it.
He's got a great voice, like, and the women just ignore this guy. Like,
He gave them the ick.
No, he is my number one. Also, the girl that he's with, is her name Hannah?
Yeah.
Hannah, yeah.
People say on TikTok, people keep tagging me in her TikToks and say that we look alike a little bit. And I think it's because we like both kind of have like a little bit of a lisp and like talk out of the side of our mouth. I think that they're gonna go far. Like, I think they're gonna grow into
each other.
something.
Yeah.
I love them. Girls, if you go on Love Island in the future, I always say pick the underdog. Pick the underdog. There's a reason why everybody's going for the assholes at first. And the guys who are in the back, it's like, those are the slow burns. Those are the ones that are good. I have no idea why nobody liked him. And
they all were putting him on first base or not picking him. Like, you don't want to make out with this man?
and
Like,
he has an accent. He's
Yeah.
like,
what is
sweet.
happening?
Gentleman.
and he seems like the most level-headed.
And after the game, he's like, I think I gave all the girls the ick. I was like, you gave all the girls
So
the
that's
ick?
all.
He was so nervous
So that's
about
just him
that.
being self-aware,
Yeah.
just knowing what the ick is, just like conscious that like he might do something. These other guys that can't even comprehend they might turn off women.
Yeah.
Literally.
And like every time they like fuck over a girl, like when the guy was like, and they're back to 50-50, all the guys were like, yeah. And it's like,
Yeah, it's like,
it's like,
Weirdo.
what are we doing here? Like, I completely agree. I have no idea. But then that also was like, I think he brought it up, which is another self-aware point. He's like, I'm not the guy that they had a crush on in middle school. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not the guy that they had a crush on in high school because our cultures are different.
Yeah.
So they're not like seeing me right away and being like, oh my God, you know, just because he's different. But yeah, I'm like, why is nobody after him? I have no idea.
This might be controversial, but I hate the way Huda went about telling
Yes.
Jeremiah that she's a mom. It felt so, if I'm her child,
Mhm.
it's giving you're embarrassed of me. It's giving you don't want to share. Like, if God forbid this ever happens, Nick and I get a divorce, and
you're on Love Island
and I am
USA.
on Love Island USA.
Yeah, of course.
Which I don't know if I'd ever do. I have to leave my child for 2 months with no contact.
Yeah.
Sorry, not interested. But like, I'm leading with that, right? Like, I don't even want to entertain the possibility of someone who's not like going to love my daughter. So like, why would I even like hide that for a moment? She told the women immediately, like, open the door with being like, hey, my name's Huda and I'm a mother.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the mature like responsibility to deal with that, then don't even try to
It's-
fucking talk to me.
I want to give her grace, but after hearing Natalie's take while watching it, then I feel like it's giving. I want to stay on the show.
I have a theory.
Give it.
Jessica, Love is Blind,
Mm-hmm.
hiding that not hiding or like not saying that she had kids, then saying she had kids, big reality TV moment. Everybody was talking about it. You will choke. Everything.
Mhm.
I think maybe either producer saw that or she saw that. And during her interview process of Love Island, she's like, I'm a mom. I'm nervous to come on and tell people. And they were like, you know what? Like, this is your show. Like, this is your opportunity. Like, you don't have to tell everybody right away. Maybe tell the girl.
That makes
I
sense.
think there might be a little producer of it all. Because she came and she's like, I'm a mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then her not telling them, I think there might be some sort of producer in her ear being like, I would wait to tell somebody until it's real. Like, you know what I mean?
Like
Or
that.
she could just be saying that and like, I'm not a mom, so I don't get it. But I also, and if this might be controversial, but I think that telling somebody from the start not only is like a sign of respect, but it's like, this is who I am.
Mhm.
Like, that's going to be a massive part. Obviously, you don't introduce the kid until you're
Right.
comfortable and like figure that out. But I do think that was a little weird. And his reaction was completely okay. Because I would be like,
100%.
oh my God. Because when you date somebody who has a child already, I come from a family. My mom was divorced twice by the age of 9. I met boyfriends. I had stepdads. When you date somebody with a child, you are not dating and going to be newlyweds and have that time alone. Like,
Yeah.
there's somebody else in the picture.
Yep.
And
It's a different relationship.
different relationship. So it's like, I understood his
But
reaction.
then it felt like she was trying to like sell her daughter. She's like, she's just like me. She loves arcades. She loves this. She's so cool. She's so this. And it was
Yeah.
like, you don't have to do all that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to try to
But
like make her sound like
yeah.
he'll love her.
Yeah.
You know?
What are your thoughts on them in general?
Hate. It's 4 days in, bitch. Like, you cannot. She was so mean to that new bombshell.
Oh, yeah.
So mean. The
She's
way
like,
that
I don't know what it is about her, but she's dirty.
She's
and it's like, huh? You
messy.
just met her. Like she was playing a game.
Yeah.
Also going back to like the kid thing, I also think it was how she led into it with the whole like I have a second bedroom. Like say you have an office, like if you don't want to like talk about your kid, but it's like you're setting it up like there's this big scary secret.
even the lead up to that whole conversation on the dock where it was like, I just have to tell you something. It was like,
This
do you
could
have
be
an
anything.
STD?
I
Like,
murdered
what?
someone. Like
The we're a mom and they're not playing the long game, and I think they're just gonna burn out way too early.
Well, I think I haven't really seen the narrative online about this, but he goes, but if we go all the way and win.
that I texted Leia, literally was like, did you catch something that was a giant red
So
flag?
That was obviously, and he's like, well, I mean, like, make it to the end. And he like corrected himself. Now in my head, from a producer, like, by the way, I've never produced anything in my life. This is just this lens that I have.
Some people are just born with it.
Yes.
Literally.
You have the gene.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I always say, like, the TV raised me. Like, the TV was my babysitter.
Amen.
Now, from this point, if anybody comes in and tries to date her or pursue her, they're going on to be the good guy, to have that role on the show of like, you know what, like, I'm gonna come in and like be the guy that like takes it well that she has like, and if they stay together, in his head he's like, I'm gonna win the show because like I'm gonna be the guy that she deserves and we're gonna have this family and that's gonna make people root for us. Like I feel like she is set up for failure no matter what, which like sucks. But I think that like if they ever break up, the next guy who comes in who tries to be with her, it's gonna be for a reason, which might be why she was kind of like hesitant to say she had kids to begin with. But like I just think that like there is no way, shape, or form where she's going to leave this happy, which will be good for the show and might be good for her socially or like career wise. But I just think that like it's gonna explode. Like there's no way. But I will say, maybe I've been working on my emotional maturity. I'm in a healthy relationship now. You know, I'm in therapy, and I totally think that she approached the situation wrong. But maybe it's just because like I'm like not like a prude, but like if I saw the guy that I really liked doing that with all these girls, maybe it's because I like didn't date a lot. I would kind of be like, oh my God, like that hurts me. Like that upsets me. I wouldn't
She has
react
every
like that.
right to like have her feelings hurt,
Yeah.
right? Like I think it's hard to see any of these girls like,
Of
you know,
course.
for Alandria to watch like Taylor make out with all, I think it probably like
Yeah.
there was a moment in her head where she was like, damn, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like whatever. But I think the fact that she was like death staring this man to the point where he felt so uncomfortable, he couldn't even participate in the
crazy.
fucking game. He was like, I didn't even kiss her back. My hands weren't on
he's
her. Like
whipped
he was
in 4 days.
he was very, it's giving like he is scared of her.
I also think the thing with Love Island that makes it great and like horrible for the people, which is all reality TV, is since there's no phones, no books, no nothing. Like you literally have nothing. All of their attention,
all their
energy goes to the person they're pursuing.
Yeah.
So from a girl's perspective, they're like, this is what I've always wanted. Look, a man is giving me all of his attention.
Yeah.
This is love.
Yeah.
And guys are like, well, I'm bored. Like, I'm just gonna, I guess this is really all I have to do.
You wanna have another chat?
So in their heads, they're like, even though it's been 4 days, they're like, no, like this is like 100% real. Like he's giving me everything I've always wanted, his full attention. But it's like, it's been 4 days.
Like
you know
I do
what I mean?
wish some of the women would check Huda, like Ace did, of him being like, we're 4 days in. She's like, I don't care. It's like, I wish some of these women would be like, babe, you can't be pissed off at this bombshell. She's doing her job.
And she also can't say, because I have a kid and I told him, then like he needs to take me more serious, because 1000%, if I was her, I'd be like, yeah, like I need you to take me more seriously. I have a child. But from his perspective, he's like, well, I came on this dating show. Like, I don't know if I want to have a kid. You know what I mean?
It's like,
so it's like,
you can't be taken seriously when you're on Love Island squirting ketchup up people and like swallowing popsicles. Like, you're just not going to be taken seriously.
And you didn't lead with,
and you didn't lead with I have a kid.
And like, I can still think in her head, it's 100% feasible for her to be like, well, I want the guy who's with me to like respect me and like want to be with me. Like, I just told him I have a kid, but it's like, yeah, we're on Love Island though. And like,
that's
not
Bachelor,
what,
it's the Bachelor.
Yeah, he didn't sign up for that.
It's early, but who amongst this cast do you think has the biggest star potential outside of Love Island? Do you think there's the PPG element possible with this group of cast?
Yeah.
Is there a Rob, so to speak?
I think this is a very, even though they're focusing on the men, I think this is a girl-heavy season in the sense of personalities. I mean, none of the guys' personalities really like blew me out of the water at all. I think it's really early to tell, but I think that Sierra is gonna be a big fashion influencer girly after.
Isn't she kind of already somebody in Arizona?
Yeah, I follow a girl who is good friends with her, and I think she's kind of like a fashion influencer girly, but I think they're not really showing much of her personality right now because of the storyline. I think she might come out as like a leader of the trio of the friend group. Like, I think she's gonna have a big story arc. And I also think Alondria, I think she's gonna be a big,
she's stunning
stunning. Her body during the
also
challenge.
The way that she checked Jeremiah being like, are you not scared that he's like, yep, possessed?
Yeah, I think Orlandria is gonna have a big story arc. I think she's gonna get hurt and then maybe have a happy ending. And I think that Charlie and Hannah, is that her name? They're quiet right now. I don't ever think they'll bring drama, but I think they like might be
the couple.
I think they might last very, very long, and like he might stay faithful to her and Casa more. Like, I have faith for them, but listen, next week it literally might be like him like making out with every girl in the house, which he did when he walked in, which I also thought was like, what the hell?
Did you see Austin take a shower and then smell his underwear and wipe his face with it?
I didn't.
Okay,
I didn't.
I wish I didn't.
Or the IUD that fell out.
Oh my God, people are so fucking stupid.
You know what?
That was crazy.
You know what the IUD means?
No, everyone was talking about that.
Yeah. You know what that means?
What?
All that means is that they're the biggest show on reality TV right now. That's how Bachelor Nation was like for a while. When you had like when it's fans, they're doing deep dive in these people's lives. They would just look, they would break down every scene of every show. All that means is you're number one.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the fan base gets so intense, so like they want to find anything to talk about when they like will screenshot an IUD and make such a big deal about it.
IUD.
It was a piece of
whatever it was, like just whatever
they don't
it was.
Just fall out.
No.
That's gonna be a brand partnership.
That is going to be.
But I'm just saying, it shows the success of the show and its hype because of the like just the interest. You know, they're paying that much attention to the show. Well, they're looking for anything to make something.
I mean, who do you think is gonna be not the underdog or like somebody who's gonna like come up and have a moment?
I don't know. I mean, I truly think Shelly is like the most loved right now.
Gorgeous.
I think because she's bisexual, she kind of like gives that.
Do you think she'll ever go for a girl?
That's what I want.
That's
like,
happened
I kind
in
of
UK.
Has it?
Yeah.
I kind of want for her to go for a girl. And I mean, Sierra walked in and was like, I kissed all the guys. Now it's time for me to kiss all of you.
I think Sierra's a star.
I think she's a star.
Yeah.
And I think she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I like her. I don't think they've showed her personality yet, but I think she's gonna like maybe this week have a moment where she pops off a little bit in a good way. So
I was a little bummed and maybe it was a show, but when Nick went back with Belldasha, I was a little bummed that Sierra didn't like make moves. It's just like you're like he's too beneath you like to get all kind of desperate about it.
I hated that. I hated how, and this is props to her. I just hate how in the confessional she was like, actually, it's like kind of pissing me off that he can't pick somebody. But then to his face, she's like, you know what? This is your journey.
Take your time.
And like, I respect it.
No,
Honestly,
I
I
hated that.
encourage it. I was like,
I wanted her to pull
that
Charlie.
was very that was very
Yeah.
like pick me. And I don't think that's who she is at her core.
No.
And I don't blame her for playing that because she's like, I want him to pick me. Obviously, like literally being on the show and being a pick me is the show. Like you
Yeah.
want them to pick you.
Yes.
Yeah, I hated that. I was like, what are we doing? Because sometimes the guys like it when they're like, okay, well, like if you're confused, then like that's my answer. So
Nick forgot that Belldasha existed until she started like getting attention from
Yep.
some of the other
he even
men.
said it. He's like, I
Yeah.
like when somebody's not into me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh well, there we go. There's
the formula.
Show. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the show. Yeah.
All right.
I thought there was a second he was going to pick Belldasha just because it was like, because he's with Sierra this week.
Yeah.
I think he would have picked Belldasha if it wasn't an elimination.
I can see that. I can see that because he like wanted to like see how that would
Keep it
pan
going.
out. Yeah. I think but also it's like next week they're gonna come in so guy heavy. They're gonna bring in like 2 bombshell because it's all been girls and
Yeah.
like that's kind of how the formula goes. They flip week to week of like.
I would love
yeah.
for them to bring in, I
Fucking
think
ringer.
Jeremiah said that he was like attracted to Hispanic Latina women.
Yeah.
Like I would love for them to bring in a bombshell
Yeah.
Latina woman and just see if Jeremiah will just lean
Yes.
any sort of way because it's
And
I want to
think they
test
might,
this
'cause
relationship.
The audience is reacting that way. They're like, we want Jeremiah's head to turn. Where I'm like, oh my god, like
He's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Like for him to
gorgeous.
I'm actually so sorry.
every time
Yeah.
he's on camera, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
No,
Like, wow.
No, he's
No.
striking.
Yeah, he is like he looks like an actor. Somebody I like couldn't put my finger on it, but yeah, he's absolutely good. Do you think he's actually a good guy?
He seems like he is, which is
There's no reason to think he's not yet.
I mean, the
Okay.
fact that he didn't kiss her
Mhm.
back, the fact that he sat down and had that conversation with Amaya and was
Yeah, I
like,
don't-
"I'm gonna go." Like he
I
didn't, he didn't flirt. He
Yeah.
didn't lean in any
I
sort of
don't
way.
think bad guys would have looked as uncomfortable as he looked at home base playing
Mhm.
that game, or he really looked like he was trying not to
Mhm.
kiss one of the bombshells. And I feel like the scummy guys would have been at a
They would
minimum.
have leaned in and been like,
Like,
"It was
I'm
a
just playing a game.
It was a
Yeah,
challenge."
playing a
But, like,
game.
had to.
What about like a wolf in sheep's clothing where it's like saying all the right things? Like
po- I mean,
for me,
listen,
I'm
we
like,
don't
he's
know.
very possessive. He clearly like has.
How is he possessive?
I mean, they both are. Like they're very much like you're not going to talk to anybody else. It's day 2 and you're on Love Island.
It seems more like her driving
I
that
think
shit.
he
but
started it a little
Yeah.
bit, and then once she got wind that he was possessive, she was like, "Oh, I like
Anything's
this."
Yeah,
And
she's
she's like,
possible.
"Yeah,
I mean,
he
My
is
it's-
only
me."
worry is like, look up what happened with Scandival. It was a literal national news story. Men know if I go on TV and fuck over a girl
I'm done.
who people think is a fan favorite, I am more than done.
Mhm.
The thing that is great about Love Island until they bring in the games where they show the public's comments,
Mhm.
you don't know who's a fan favorite because like it's live.
Yeah,
Like you know what
yeah.
I mean? So in his head, he might think, okay, like she is a mom. She's a
What
fan
if after he
favorite.
finds out that she's not, he's like,
So, but I also am with you guys. I'm like, you guys
Yeah.
seem like a good guy, but like you said, anything's possible. I think that also one more thing I wanted to talk about in the sense of the game with the suitcases, with the answers.
Mhm.
I think they definitely asked those questions during casting.
For sure.
Because that's why I think Austin's answers were so crazy. Because he was probably like, I'm going to say all this shit to get on the show.
He's
Yeah.
like,
Like,
thousands.
do you know what I mean? Because some of like the answers for all of them like didn't add up. I'm like, this was definitely casting questions, and people played it safe or went completely outside of the box to get on the show.
100% Nick being confused,
Totally.
being like, wait, no, I for sure cheated.
Yeah,
like
he
I've
was
never
like, no,
seen
I
someone out
actually cheated.
themselves.
I was
also
like-
not his like ex being like, "That was about me," and I knew he told me he didn't cheat on
Yeah.
me.
Like,
And it was
how do you know it was you? Like,
5 years later.
like it could be like a high school girlfriend, a middle school girlfriend.
And like the bodies of it all being like, how many people have you slept with? Like, I mean, obviously, like maybe I'm just like old, but I was kind of like, and I'm all for everybody, but I'm like, to say that on national TV, like with your family watching and stuff like that, like I don't even have a good relationship with my family. I was just like, this is like TV's crazy.
Yeah, it's like none of your
TV's
business.
crazy. Like it's like, okay, so she slept with 18. It's like, what is going on? Like this is like actually fucking crazy. Like, and maybe I'm just like old now, but I was like, wow, like I mean, and good for them. Like I'm
But-
not judging anybody's numbers, but I was like, the fact that like this is what we are watching as entertainment and we're like loving it. I was like,
but it played into the stereotype of how like men always like lie and they add numbers to their roster and women tend to like, you know, leave
keep
a couple
it safe.
keep it safe. Do you think it was a little risky of the producers to throw in the nude question given the controversy they had last season?
The nudes question.
The way these fans like start like looking and
I mean, for Austin to be like thousands of nudes, that's just literally giving the audience like a chance to be like, that hit thousands of his nudes are out there. I should go and look for
my
some.
producer goggles were not on for that one, and you guys make an incredible point. I that has to be
the scary. That's and I you know,
it's like who here has said controversial tweets? Like how many of you guys have had controversial tweets? Like it's like
thousands.
Yeah.
Like,
been on a
all
podcast.
right, let's go find them.
Yeah.
As someone who was born in reality TV, I have so much empathy for just like the how difficult it can be to like come off these shows, and it is infinitely more challenging coming out of Love Island because it's one thing to film a show, have the show wrap, go live your life, anticipate the show airing, you know, 3 to 12 months later. These people are become famous off the grid. And that is and
like walk out to it. Yeah.
And it's not right. It's kind of it's weird. And it just like it's scary. It's cool for them how popular the show is, but it's potentially very scary because there's so many like clout chasers out there. All the exes, you know, everyone wants their moment.
They didn't do this on USA, but in UK last year, you aren't allowed to post on your social media while you're in the house. Like, you know how like now they have friends like running it so you can gain followers and stuff like that. In the UK, they stopped allowing people to post on their social media pages during the show because it was getting like so much bullying and stuff like that. But then also I was like, that's interesting because then like they'll come out inevitably like with less opportunity. I don't know. It was interesting that they did that, and I wonder if they'll ever get to a point in the USA where they do that.
Yeah, because I wonder if like maybe Hood is getting a lot of shit right now, but say she makes it to the end and everyone loves her. It's like she comes out and she had no idea that there was all that hate, and she just comes to like
and also like
love.
the hate can get like you said like insane, insane, and you
people,
walk out and you're like, okay, I was a waitress last week, and now I'm literally like being
most hated woman on earth.
hated woman on the internet. Yeah,
it's also really early. I think people forget that Leah caught early heat last season 6, and she became
1000%
a huge fan favorite. So it's early.
It's the formula. It's the formula. Yeah.
Did you ever watch Bachelor?
So I watched Bachelor, Emily Maynard's season. I watched like early Bachelor. I watched your season because of the toast.
They fucking hated me then.
Yeah, you were in the basket of like the people hated. Then you had your redemption arc.
You know what's so funny? Speaking of the toast and Nick, is I reminded this came up on my For You page, and it's Nick. I guess he has Claudia on. I gotta tell Claudia. Remind Claudia about this. During the pandemic, he had like Claudia on. It was via Zoom, whatever. And Nick was like, he like asked her like something about their friendship, like like our friendship, something, and she was like, it means so much to me. Like I honestly like it has changed my worldly view. Like I don't think I've ever had a friendship like this before in my life, and I just like can't believe that we're friends. And Nick was like, yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. And it was like so clear that she was being sarcastic. And Nick was like,
it was the pandemic. I was just practicing gratitude. I thought we all could die, you know? Like
But it's weird because like I'm the biggest reality TV person, and like I like don't really watch The Bachelor. Like I'm very good friends with Gabby Wendy. Like we work together a lot. I love her so much. I went on her podcast. I had no idea she was the Bachelorette. Like I had no idea. I like thought she was like on the show, and then I was like, so like, did you go on that show like wanting to get married or whatever? She's like, I literally was the Bachelorette. I was like, oh, what? I literally had no idea. But
only reason why I asked is because they are going through a bit of a potential rebrand. They haven't been picked up after the 30th. How would you modernize the show?
So I don't know if I can say. I'm pretty sure I can say this. A couple years back, I met with people about this in the sense of it was like for an interview with some people from like ABC being like, what do you think the show needs essentially? And I think I have a TikTok about it from like 4 years ago. I was deep in my Love Island phase. So I was like, I think you need to bring a little bit of a live aspect to it in the sense of like my idea was, so you know how sometimes they show like the first 3 people that are going to be on the show once they announce the Bachelorette, they like show the audience people who are going to be on the next season or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that there should be some sort of thing where the person who's the Bachelor or Bachelorette gets like a Tinder almost, and so does the audience. It's like an app, and you like swipe left or right, there's a little bio to say like who you want to be on the show or not. And then the person does that. And then like 3 weeks into the show, they bring in some of the people that the Bachelorette said that they wanted, or add some of the people that the audience wanted to see that wasn't there originally. Like, I think there needs to be some sort of live aspect to it. But at the same time, it's like you could try to rebrand and reinvent the Bachelor, Bachelorette, and people have said it's needed it for so long, obviously. But then it's also like, will that really still be the Bachelor, Bachelorette if it's fully
I think
rebranded?
it could. I mean, we're on the same page. We're
It's
talking
kind of like
about
let
an hour
a
ago.
dead dog lie, though. You know, it's like
That's sometimes how I feel about it.
Well,
But-
they're going to try. We were talking about it about an hour before you showed up.
Yeah.
I think the lead needs to have some kind of involvement in the casting.
Mhm.
I think the lead should have a phone throughout the season.
Yeah.
That's not their phone. It's a
Yep.
it's a show phone. It's controlled by the phone. When you're not on a date, someone could text them.
Yep.
Modernize it in a way instead of like showing
Ooh,
up
I
at the
like
door.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the lead has some say, and like I think they should cast 60, not 30, and allow these women to like go online and
That's what
start
yeah.
being characters
Yep.
online before they even show up,
Yep.
so the audience gets invested in them.
I agree. I've said that for a minute too, because it's like you should have a little bit of a say. It doesn't need to be a full shock factor. You know what I mean? Yeah.
They lean
I don't
into
know.
that way
I have
too
a little
much.
bit of breaking news. Justin Baldoni's $400 million countersuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds has been dismissed by the judge.
Pop off.
Kind of crazy.
That's
The
insane.
judge threw
Huge
it out.
win.
Are you guys?
Oh, very much Team Blake and Team Ryan.
Yeah.
So I am not as deep in it as somebody might think that I would be. See, I am so bad with like propaganda, which is probably not like a good thing to say. But like when I'm on TikTok and I see one TikTok on one person's side's giving all the facts, I'm like, wow, you know what? That's
Team
crazy.
them.
And then I see
Yeah.
the next deep dive and I'm like, oh my
Team
God.
them.
Yeah, literally. So it's so hard.
Yeah. It's also a
Especially
very
with PR agencies getting
Yeah.
involved, like to specifically trash other people's images. I'm like, I have no idea if what I'm seeing is real or not.
It's
Like,
also a very toxic subject. We've left it alone for a
Yeah.
while because people are very, very opinionated
Yeah.
on it, and it's just been like not worth. Like we've been like, y'all know
Yeah.
our stance.
I mean, my
Like, we're not-
stance started when I interviewed Justin years ago, and he's probably he's the only guest I ever had that I had a very visceral negative experience where I just felt like it was a fraudulent person. It was just my opinion, my take. And yeah, I just wasn't surprised. And then just, I think people are just ignoring, like I've said before, the claim was always sexual harassment, not sexual assault. And you can, making someone feel uncomfortable in the workplace is obviously there's a spectrum of that. But I think the real crime that people are completely ignoring was his response to that, which was the team that he hired to go out and hire and have this very organized smear campaign that I think is just a very elaborate and very kind of scary thing about like how people can go after their accusers. And the same way that, that's a playbook as old as time, but now that it's an elevated playbook using the power of the internet, which I think is very scary. And you saw him do that. And I think everyone's kind of ignoring that.
I want to know, I don't know if it would be a documentary or like a scandal type show where they show the inner workings of those agencies doing that. Like that is just, and it exists.
Yeah.
And everybody in the industry knows this exists, but the consumer is so blind to it, which is like another thing that like I find extremely fascinating, especially ever since being in the public eye and kind of being on the back end of it is like, and having my best friends from home who grew up in New Hampshire and Boston, when they speak about celebrities and bring things up, I'm like, oh, you don't get it. Like you read what the internet's like you get what their PR team is trying to put out there.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just so interesting. I mean, I have not dove into the whole case fully, but I am interested to learn more about those techniques and that agency and how that works. Because imagine being the person who works on a PR team like that. How does one feel about themselves? I mean,
that would be an interesting, like, kind of like how the studio has
That's
done
what I'm
this, like,
saying.
deep dive in, like, how you make, how that industry is. If there was some sort of show about the inner workings of
I think-
publicists.
Well,
that
big win
would be-
for Ryan and Blake. And I think once this thing finally goes to court on the other side of the thing, I still think that the witnesses that are included in the original claim, I think a lot more will come forward. And glad I was on that side of the things from the beginning. Robyn, always fun and always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for coming on. Where can people find you?
It's so funny. When I started GirlBossTown, I never thought that I would be professionally known as a girl boss. It's like literally the most cringy thing ever. But you know what? I'm owning it. So it's at GirlBossTown on TikTok and Instagram, giving my pop culture commentary, my predictions. I also do creative consulting on the back end.
Should we hire
you?
I feel like maybe we need you.
Guys, I'm here.
Period.
Not really.
But I have so much fun whenever I come on here. You guys speak my language, so thank you so much.
It's so fun to
Oh.
pick your Love Island brain and pop
It's,
culture brain.
it's an honor to have you back. Up next, we have the very hilarious Jim Jefferies and his wife. Well, all you busy workers out there, if you feel like you are buried under nonstop meetings and struggle to remember what was discussed or agree next steps, Fireflies is your AI teammate that keeps track of it all. From key takeaways to next steps, Fireflies keeps you organized. No more missed details or forgotten follow-ups.
We're all trying to figure out how to work smarter, not harder, whether that's automating our post-meeting follow-ups or streamlining how we communicate and collaborate across teams. Fireflies turns your meetings into action so you can focus on achieving results. It seamlessly integrates with tools you and your team already rely on, with integrations across more than 60 different apps like Zoom, Google Meet, Slack, Asana, Zapier, and your CRM. You'll get powerful collaboration tools like real-time and up-to-date web search directly in your meetings, shareable sound bites, timestamp notes that allow you to pinpoint key moments, and bookmarks that highlight important moments in meetings, giving you the ability to control who can view, share meeting notes, and even choose where to store your meeting information. What are you waiting for? Join the over 500,000 companies already using Fireflies and start turning your meetings into action.
And right now, when you sign up for a yearly Firefly subscription, you get your first 2 months free. Just go to fireflies.ai/VIALL. That's right, 2 months free when you go to fireflies.ai/VIALL. That's fireflies.ai/VIALL.
Well, we all know I am in my barista matcha era. I also am frugal, as we all know. I'm very frugal. So instead of going out and buying a matcha every single day at 3 p.m. after my lunch, I am making it at home with Peak's Radiant Skin Duo Sun Goddess Matcha. It is my daily energy saver. Unlike coffee, which has left me jittery and crashing, this gives me a calm, sustained energy that lasts all day. It's packed with L-theanine for focus and EGCG antioxidants that support firm, clear skin and gut health, because let's be real, great skin starts in the gut. And I take it after lunch because I used to bloat a lot after meals, but now I don't. My digestion is so much better.
Also, Peak has the BT Fountain Electrolytes. This is a hydration on another level. I used to drink so much water and I still would feel dry and depleted and dehydrated by midday. Turns out my body just wasn't absorbing it properly. BT Fountain has clinically proven ceramides that actually lock in moisture at a cellular level, keeping my skin and body hydrated from the inside out. And the glow, it's insane. My skin has never looked so plump, fresh, and dewy.
Peak goes above and beyond with quadruple toxin screening, meaning every ingredient is tested for heavy metals, pesticides, and mold. If you're tired of feeling depleted and want to finally nourish your body the right way, now's the time. Get 20% off plus a free rechargeable frother and glass beaker with our exclusive link, peaklife.com/VIALL. That's PIQUE life.com/VIALL. Do not sleep on this. Your body and skin will thank you.
Just a little anecdotal story. When Jim came here, he's promoting his new show that he's hosting on The Snake on Fox. His wife, Tasie, came with. She's a big reality TV fan. And so we're like, do you want to sit on the couch and talk some reality TV with us? And she came and she sat and we had a great conversation. And somehow, some way, Tasie's father's name got brought up. His name is Derek. We were just talking names.
About their kids.
About their kids. And sadly, and I've talked with Tasie and asked if it was okay to share the story, but we found out after they left that Tasie's father, Derek, died of a heart attack while we were recording that show. And I only bring it up because it just reminds you just how short life is. Thoughts and prayers go to Tasie's family and her father. We love them and we love their family. And just hug the ones that you love because you never know. Jim Jefferies. Jim, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
And you brought your lovely wife with you, Tasie?
My wife is a big fan of all things that you talk about in this show. So she wasn't going to be on the air. She just wanted to come and watch.
Thank
so
goodness I
well,
put
yeah.
some
And then we were
makeup
just like, well, sit on the couch.
but you said, do you want to sit on the couch? And she took it like that.
She goes, oh my God, yes,
She
absolutely.
was like, yes. And she was down, seated.
Listen, anyone who's passionate about what we're passionate about, we love to bring them on. And obviously, you've been on before recapping The Bachelor with us. Was it your wife who got you into the Bachelor franchise?
Me and the wife got into The Bachelor. It's weird because I had a joke about The Bachelor and I started saying to my wife, oh, my wife got me into The Bachelor. Neither of us watched it, but I had a joke because I'd watched one episode.
Okay.
And my wife was like, why are you dragging me down with this trashy TV? How dare you make me blah, blah, blah. Then COVID happened and we watched like every season.
We started off ironically.
Yeah, ironically. We'll
Like
watch
taking
one
the
episode.
piss.
That's how I ended up going on the show. Ironically. I was making fun of my buddy's wife who was watching it, and I was like, why are you watching this stupid show? And she's like, shut up, I'm going to sign you up. And I was like, ha, 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 ha. And then it changed my life.
Oh,
Yeah.
now we're obsessed.
No, we've watched
We're
all the
true
seasons. Sometimes if we have no TV to watch, we will go on Hulu and go, what season haven't we seen? It'll be like season 6, 2008. You know, and we'll watch it.
It's in black and white.
No, they're better those episodes because no one wants to get followers. No one there's no podcast to be had or anything like that. Everyone's legitimately looking for love. It's weird. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's
It's,
definitely not
it's
as fun.
psychotic. Yeah. Well, you are here because you are hosting a new reality TV show called The Snake on Fox, which premieres tonight at 9.
It does.
Very excited about that. Obviously, we're going to talk to you about some other reality TV in general, but let's.
I think. Look, I was doing another game show in Australia, and I got the phone call, and they said Fox wants you to host a game show in America that's going to film in Argentina in 6 days' time. And I was finishing, and I said, look, I don't finish here for 8 days. And then they went, all right, you can come out in 8 days type of thing. So I flew out to Argentina. I really just think that I got the job because the show's called The Snake and this accent. Think of it.
Yeah.
Has there ever been another Australian game show host in American TV history?
Honestly, I don't think Americans can say the word snake.
I had
you
to
kind
go.
of sound like the crocodile
Who's
hunter
going to be the
almost.
snake this week? Who's going to be the this week? And all that type of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
It couldn't be an American.
And I think they thought that maybe I had a little bit of the Steve Irwins about me,
Oh, yeah.
that I could just pick him up and go, I've got a snake. But I'm as scared of snakes as anyone else.
Was that like a letdown for them? Did they find that out later?
Oh, we don't. There are physical snakes in the show occasionally. They're not common. It's not every episode with a snake. The idea of the show is that there's a snake medallion. You want to be the snake. The snake isn't the bad person. The snake changes each week. And so you win competitions to become the snake, and then the snake has extra voting power and extra control. So it's a social game. So if you're the snake, all the other housemates start sucking up to you that week. Because you have to be nice to the snake. If you're on the bad side of the snake, you're out of the show. So the snake is like a bit of false friendship.
They wield all the power.
They wield all the power. The snake wields all the power. And I have to give people the medallion. I have to hold the medallion. I got this medallion that I hold up and go, who wants this medallion?
I
And
really
we take it very seriously, man.
Yeah.
I've seen the promo. I haven't seen the first episode, but what really drew me is like the show seems to lean into like old school like tropes of characters, like how Bachelor when they had the cast, it was like the pilot, the engineer. You guys have a pastor.
We have a pastor who's wearing the outfit.
Yeah,
looks
wears
like
the
priest,
collar,
Wears
yeah.
the collar. We have a cop who's wearing like a bulletproof vest all the time. Like she comes out, like not when they're in the house, but when they're doing contestant
Sure,
games.
sure.
We have an OnlyFans creator. She's just wearing nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
she's just, so we have an OnlyFans creator. We have a cop. We have a detective. I'd tell you the detective, look, I'm a heterosexual fella, but something for the mums, I tell you. Handsome fella called Derek. I'm chilling you out there. Nice guy.
Okay.
I tell you what, I liked all the contestants in the end. To begin with, there's such a distance between being the host and the contestants where you don't really see them. They all hang out with each other. You see them at the challenges and the voting ceremonies and what we call it the saving ceremony in this show. And but over the course of the weeks of the show, I actually got quite fond of all of them.
So there wasn't any one that you were rooting for to win.
Yeah, there's people I
Yeah.
wanted to. Well, look, I had my favourites, but I wouldn't say it. I'm not my mother.
Of course, yeah.
I'm not going to tell you in front of your brothers.
What did you think of the pastor? Because I saw that and I immediately like my spidey senses go up because I think like men, women of God, like they wield so much power because in their communities, people look to those people
Yes.
as therapists sometimes.
They're
like the closest connection between themselves and God, And so I'm like a pastor who wants to be famous. Like
At first, I had the initial, and I said this to him. I said, I have a repulsion towards people wearing that outfit. I'm an atheist. I just don't like priests and stuff like that. I find it creepy. And also, we all know what's going on in the Catholic Church and all that type of stuff. New Pope. So I have an initial to the whole situation. And I said it to him. I said, mate, I said, ordinarily, I don't really like people like you, or I avoid people like you, but I think you're a really nice guy. He was a really sweet guy. And me and him connected on the same level. We're both dads. He's got a 2-year-old daughter. I've got a 3-year-old son, you know what I mean? So we sort of talked on that base level. Is your kid watching Bluey? You know what I mean? And then once we got to that level, and I just chatted to him, he was a solid ass dude, man. He's a good guy.
All right.
Pastor Jacob, I vouch for Pastor Jacob.
Pastor Jacob's solid. All right.
Pastor
And
Jacob's a solid ass
how did
dude.
he get along with the OnlyFans? Any
Oh,
kind
they
of
were
sit-down?
shagging the whole time. There's a lot of bloopers. There's a lot of stuff.
A lot of blurred
So much. Well,
images.
it is weird because the show has an aspect of the big brotherness of people living in a house. You go into a room and there's, you know from The Bachelor, there's like must be 80 screens, 80 cameras that are all playing at the same time. I'm in Argentina. The only TV is Spanish speaking television and stuff like that. That became my TV each day. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd text one of the producers, what happened last night? Are they all getting along? Who's not getting along? Did they resolve that conflict? I got really
You were invested.
I got really into the gossip of all these people and how they were all getting along and all that type of stuff. And, there's a little bit of, not to ruin anything, but there's a bit of romance that goes on in the show. There's a little bit of that. There's a bit of romance and there's a bit of competitive. There's a bit of skullduggery. There's a bit of underhandedness because it's a tagline for the show is it's a show about making friends and faking friends. You have to get along. If you don't get along with everyone, you're not getting through. So there was certain elements of the show that I didn't get to see, so I'm looking forward to seeing it myself.
Tasie, are you gonna watch too, or
I will watch.
You
I was
will.
just thinking that when he said that you have to pretend to like people,
It's like a marriage.
it's like our marriage, but also you wouldn't be good at that at all,
No.
and I wouldn't be good at that at all.
No,
Pretending to
I
like
showed
people.
disdain very easily. I can't hide it on my face.
Yeah.
If there's
Kind of the
drama, I'll
same.
watch it.
Yeah.
There'll be a bit of drama. There's a bit of competition. There's like there's tough people who turn out to be pussies in certain situations, and there's people who you think are weak who turn out to be strong in other situations. Like those are sort of challenges where maybe you have to eat something, or there's some you have to do something gross. That sort of fear factory type of thing. You can tell a lot about people during those moments.
Tasie, is there a show you'd like to see Jim on as a contestant of reality
Oh, as
TV?
a contestant, okay, I don't know much about contestant shows. It's more just, oh my God, I always say to him, I want him to be on The Bachelor. I'm like, just go on The Bachelor. You have a free pass to kiss some ladies. I just want to watch you on it and see you make jokes.
I'm too old for The Bachelor and too young
Go
for
on
The
The
Golden.
Bachelor.
I'm too young for The Golden. I think I'd go on The Golden.
They can make a middle ground.
What about
Bachelor.
Traders? You guys watch
Oh
Traders?
my
I would
God.
I'd love to be on Traders.
I want to be on
We're big
Traders.
trader watchers, love Traders. We watch the British version and the Australian version and the American version. The British celebrity version coming out right now, because you have the reality stars and the American
No, but
one.
the English one doesn't have celebrities.
No, but there's an English celebrity one that's coming out. They've just
Yeah.
announced the celebrities, and they're massive British celebrities. These aren't like B-list. In Britain, these are A-list celebrities who are doing the British one.
Yeah, I think they're trying to elevate the American
Well,
version. a
don't
little
elevate it too much. I could possibly get into this one.
Yeah,
If they
you
make it
could.
too big, I can't get into it. Well, I need it. Just get in this one. But they don't really have comedians and stuff, and I don't know why, because they always want to put the Boston Robs of this world, the good game players and stuff. In the British one, they're having like Jonathan Ross, who's the equivalent of David Letterman in Britain. He's the number one Tonight Show host. He's doing it. Alan Carr and all these other different British celebrities who British people would
But
know.
big guy, big deals.
But big deal type of people. But I think we've told you this before. We're friends with Lisa Vanderpump, right? I would like to do, and I met her through a podcast and we've become close friends. We go over to their house to have Villa Rosa for dinner, and she comes to my shows. She comes to my shows and just shows up and just watches the gigs. Her and Ken just show up.
So would you want to do Traders with her?
I would like to do something with Lisa on TV. I would like to do, I always say that Lisa's the Martha Stewart to my Snoop Dogg. Or maybe I'm the Snoop Dogg I'm the Martha Stewart to her Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
But we're an unlikely pairing.
Maybe she could put you in the revamp of Vanderpump.
Oh, yeah.
You could be like a
you could be like the
busboy.
bartender
I
who
was
gives
about
like
to say
sage
that.
advice. Yeah.
The Australian bartender.
Yeah.
Or in England, all bartenders are Australian. That's not such a thing here, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not a thing here.
Yeah.
It's very racist of you to
Sorry,
bring it up.
that was very
But yeah, I don't know. What would I
Would
do
that
in
feel like kind of
I told you the story about Jax and all that happened to me on Vanderpump Rules.
Say it again.
Okay, so this is before I met my lovely wife. This is many years ago. I was in the Improv Comedy Club, and I was drunk. I was still drinking back then, so I was drunk. And I was standing at the bar drunk, and they had Jax and someone else and two other people, and one of the friends of theirs was doing stand-up for the first time, and that was the episode that they were going to be watching stand-up type of thing, right? They were in the bar section of the Improv, and they were having a conversation, but every time they sort of, had the conversation, everyone in the bar had to be quiet because, you know what I mean? And so all us comics were sort of standing at the bar like they were coming into our fucking territory. And I was drunk and belligerent about the whole thing, right? And so I said, I don't want to be on camera in the background because I could see the camera was on me, and the guy was like, don't worry about it, you're not on camera. I'm like, I know what it looks like to be on camera. That camera is
Pointing right at me.
I said, I don't want to be in this thing, right? So I could have moved out of the way. And they go, you're not on camera. I said, okay, great. So I turned back to the bar and I dropped my pants so my ass was showing in the background of the shot, right? Right? And I just had my ass hanging out. I was just standing at the bar having a drink with my ass hanging out like this, right? And then Jax was like this, can we get this guy out of here, please? Can we get this guy out of here? And I'm like, oh, dude.
He's one to talk. He's known for constantly showing his ass on television.
Oh, man.
Did he kick you out?
No, you can't. I'm the only person who gets me kicked out of comedy clubs.
Yeah.
Not like, I'm a comedian. You can't
kick a comedian out.
kick a comedian out of the Improv,
Yeah.
right? And so the whole production thing shut out. We got into a big fight, and they had to leave the Improv. The scene never happened. No, they got kicked out because I went, and then I had to apologize to the Improv like that. Sorry for causing you trouble, and I shouldn't have been an asshole and the thing. I was so I was in trouble, but they backed me up, which was very nice of them. But I was being a dickhead.
Wow. Have you seen Jackson's?
No, but I told Lisa that story, and I think she found the footage. She had someone actually go through it. This is how me and Lisa became mates. I told her this story.
That's how tight you are.
And I don't think she was that fond of Jax at the time, and I think so she was happy. She thought I was
found
cool.
the footage.
Look, Lisa, she likes she likes troublemakers. She's a troublemaker.
She does like troublemakers.
She's a troublemaker.
Yeah.
So me and her get a kick out of each other.
Where'd you do Special Forces?
Man, I watch you. I contacted you afterwards, right?
Yeah.
I was so impressed by you, dude.
Oh, thank you.
I was so impressed by you on that show. And the answer is no. No, I don't have the mental fortitude for that. I just don't. I'm not fit. I'm not yet. Like, I looked at the people my age doing it, right? I'm a bit older than you, right? Now, who was it? The guy off Beverly Hills 902, Brian Austin Green.
Yeah.
Right? And he was just like,
First day, he's like, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah. I think I'm too old. I think I'm too old to go through it. Would you do it again in 10 years?
I would like to think well, in 10 years, maybe I would try because like I did it this time. One, my wife was like, I think it would be sexy. And I was like, okay.
All right. Would it be sexy if I did it or embarrassing?
What, now or in 10 years?
No, now. I'm not doing it in 10 years. I'm dead in 10 years.
I would find it hot. You doing like.
But I also
jumping off the helicopter.
I just found out Natalie was pregnant with our daughter, and I used it as kind of like, can I still do this shit? You know, I used to compete in athletics back in the day, and I haven't done shit like that. So like in 10 years, I'll wonder again, like, what do I still got? Like, because it's really not about physical. I mean, it is to a certain extent, but it's about like not quitting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could do the not quittingness of it, but I don't think being dunked in water and all that type of stuff, I would panic. There were things I'd panic in.
Yeah.
But I was so impressed. We watched the whole thing.
It's a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah.
And I don't know about who's the guy that had the affair on
Sandoval.
Sandoval. I think he's an all right dude. And she sits there like that going, after
no,
what
I
he
never.
did.
But saying that, we watched him in Traders after that, right? Did you still think he was an all right dude in Traders?
I just thought he was thick in Traders. I still think he's a good dude.
He's
but I think anytime
he's harmless.
No, he's not hard. He's a weirdo. He's eccentric. We disagree on a lot of like, he has a moral compass. I have a different one. But like,
here's a moral compass. I have none.
Well, his is very unique. Right. I think most people don't subscribe to his way of life, so to speak. You know what you're getting with him, and he's not clever enough to be that calculated.
Right.
And it's just like...
That's what I was saying. I maybe thick was a harsh term, right? What I meant was when he was on the show Traders, he was he was like, I think it's that person.
Yeah.
If he said it, you think it was that person, it was never that person.
Never that
He was
person.
never on the right scent, not once.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's not the devil that he was.
Yeah.
He made a terrible mistake. He did a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, he had a hard time taking accountability. I've met worse people, and I would.
Oh yeah.
You could do far worse than him. I think as a friend is my take.
Right.
Meeting him.
All right, we'll be friends.
Yeah.
We'll be
What does
best
thick
mates.
mean?
Dumb.
Thick,
Stupid.
Dumb.
dumb,
Yeah.
bit
Little ditzy.
thick,
Oh.
thick, yeah, thick as a brick.
Thick
is the
as a
term.
brick.
Thick as a
Okay.
brick is the term. Yeah.
You're friends with the Valley.
I am. I'm a little behind though.
That's okay. We'll let's. I want to on a high level. We don't have to get into like play by play of the episodes. But speaking of like who I think you could do worse by, Jax obviously, but like Jesse right now. Jesse, like to me, he seems like an emotional terrorist to his ex-wife Michelle.
Yeah, that's a real tricky one. And people on Watch What Happens Live, Andy was like, would you rather be divorcing Jax or Jesse? And everyone's like, oh, I'd rather be divorcing Jesse, but he does seem like a tricky guy to be getting divorced to.
Yeah, he wants to emotionally torture the mother of his
Yeah.
child in a way that like
But
Jax.
so does Jax. And, like the texts he
Yeah,
sends Brittany, like he doesn't stop. That man is up.
Yeah, I think they're both
constantly.
terrible options. It's like, would you rather have someone shit on your face or like rub it all over your body?
all over your body. You get conjunctivitis.
I
in
would
the
rather-
face. What are you talking about?
What
Uh,
No,
He's like, easy answer.
Nothing with holes.
I would
Nothing with holes,
I would
just-
rather be divorcing Jesse. I think he would be an easier option. But yeah, I think he still loves her, and it's all because he's still in love with her, don't you think? Or you think
Like
he
his
just is-
ego is so shot that she moved on so
It
fast.
just
and
romanticizes
he's
in a
like-
way. I don't want to give him that.
Okay,
that
we
kind
won't
of-
do that. We won't do that. But
Yeah.
but I think or his ego is just really, really hurt that she left him, and therefore he's making her
I think
pay.
Michelle would say, if he loved me so much, why did he treat me so shitty while we were married
For
and like
sure.
never gave me attention or like kind
For
of
sure.
like acted as if like I was invisible, you know? And now that
Yeah.
she doesn't want to be with him, now he loves her.
Okay, yeah. So you're
Um,
right. It's not love. It's just he still wants her. He wants to be on his terms.
Yeah.
If they end it or not.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
got to
know.
be brutal though. I've been co-parenting with a young child. I
Well,
them
I-
starting to date other people.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then you have to know your child's around someone else.
And they both
Yeah.
seem to be
Yeah, but
used.
we do that. We do that in our lives. Like,
Yeah, but we got lucky. We have like the mother of your first child is a wonderful human being.
right.
We got really lucky.
And well, that's the thing. They seem to be using their
Yeah.
people they're dating as a way to piss off
Yeah.
the other person.
Right.
Like it's like everyone deserves to move on and find love again, but it's like an icky feeling watching them. It's like you wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy.
No.
You know, that type of divorce with a young child. It's
No.
tough.
And same with Jax and Brittany. You wouldn't wish that divorce on anyone
The stuff
else.
that Jax is able to just say is the most mind-boggling thing. I mean, when they were like, Jax, you've called her fat, you've called her this, he's like, listen, what do you mean fat? I'm attracted to that type of body type. It's like, what? It's just like that type of body type. Like, so clearly it's something that like, okay. He's so toxic.
It's do you guys get into Love Island at all?
Not really. An
Even
English.
with the UK, you know, because it started in the UK.
I know. So an English version from forever ago, which Molly May was
Mhm.
on, I
Yeah.
watched and I was so into. But since then, I haven't.
My 83-year-old father watches the Australian Love Island or the American one or something. He watches one of them. We were with him for Christmas, and he goes, "Oh no, leave that show on." Now, it's because my dad can't access the internet, so this is the closest he gets to porn.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And-
And it is very close to porn.
It's very
It is
close.
very close.
Very close. He's found this show with girls in bikinis, right?
Yeah.
And he's all over it. He's
Yeah.
in his 80s, and he goes, "Oh no, that one's all right. She's all right, but this one gives this one the ick."
Okay.
And I'm like, someone's learnt some words.
Yeah.
It's also on like every single night, so he constantly has something to watch.
Yeah.
I bet he loves it. Yeah, there's like wet, slow motion slip and slide scenes
Yeah,
and
I
like
know,
lap
it's
dances.
Dirty old man TV all day. All day.
That's funny. Did he give you like the breakdown, like his favorites, his
Well, he literally was like, I just leave this one on. Oh, this one's good. This one's a bad person. This one's a good person. Oh, she's all right. They give her a hard time for no reason. There was always one that he fancied that they give a hard time for no reason.
I got a
But I don't know
soft
if
spot for
I
her.
think it was an Australian version. I don't know. Is there
I
an
think
Australian?
it was an
There's an
Australian
Australian version, yeah.
Yeah, Australia always trots out something.
Okay.
I would like to be the host of the Australian Bachelor because I've always thought the Bachelor is the great. Okay, there's certain game show hosting jobs. So the 1% Club, you have to read questions and all that type of stuff. And I was telling you off air that I once cost the show $100,000 because I just read a question badly and I had to read it again, and it gave them an extra 10 seconds, which actually made them win the money. Right?
Did you get a lecture for that, or did you
I just was, when you stuff up at work and so you're really helpful. You're just walking around like this. Anyone need a coffee? I'm going to
You're
grab
so
one.
nice. Yeah, you're so nice to everybody.
Hey, you got a new haircut? What are you
Love that shirt on you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
doing all
my
that.
nightmare because I'm dyslexic too, and like I get hosting opportunities, and every time I have to read a teleprompter, I'm always like, guys, just like a heads up,
This won't go.
This is tough.
It does get better. Doing the Jim Jefferies show back in the day was like just reading a teleprompter for 30 minutes, right? And I would rehearse it through the week, and then I'd sit at home the night before and I'd actually go through it like a script so that I actually could perform it like stand-up, right?
Yeah.
But doing the game show, I can do the chatting thing, doing the audience thing, and then when I have to read the questions, so I always turn around, and the questions on the 1% Club are always things like, if Jane's on a train and it's traveling at 4 miles an hour and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and da-da-da-da-da, which country is she in? Well, she's still in Sydney because these other things are inconsequential.
Right.
Jane, this type of thing, right? So, but sometimes you turn around, this is my favorite. You turn around to read the question. Okay, the next question is, what number is next in this sequence? I'm over the moon. And that question comes up once an episode. I'm like, oh, have a break. You have 30 seconds to answer. Your time starts there. And then when people get the questions wrong, I have to tell them they're stupid after I've read it wrong in front of them.
Yeah.
So that's a harder job. I could never do a show with like a speed round. You have 30 seconds on the clock. Your questions start now. That's over. I'd just be like this. Pass. Pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So deal or no deal. That's a winner. One question, deal or no deal, and just chatting. There's no teleprompter, deal or no deal. That's a killer game to host, right? Is it cake?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
host Is It Cake?
There's a lot of thinking in Is It Cake?
So I've got Is It Cake, deal or no deal, but The Bachelor. Having to walk out and just go like this, ladies, there's one more rose. And then you just sort
Wow,
of
that
duck
was
away.
good.
kind of let
And-
them
That was
know how to
good.
count?
Yeah, you just, yep.
I know you all see it.
That's the end. But doing the snake was weird because you did challenges, and they were the only bits where I sort of wasn't sort of doing sort of the company line speech where it's like you have to hit these marks at this spot. During the challenges, you just commentate like you're watching sport.
that's
someone's
fun, yeah.
swimming through fish guts, and you're like this. All right, Jane's in the front. Oh, Jordan's coming up from behind. It's like a horse race.
Yeah, that's fun.
Fantastic. That's just a bit of fun doing that.
Speaking of The Bachelor, they put Paradise on pause last season, and Bachelor in Paradise is premiering, I think, early July, something like that.
Why
Yeah.
did they put it on
Early
pause? What
July.
happened?
Well, they've had some drama going on internally, I think, and I think also like it just wasn't successful. And I think they wanted to
last
revamp it.
season.
They're shooting it in Costa Rica, where they've normally shot it in Mexico. I think they're bringing some of the golden people down. So I think it's going to be different. And I think they're going to maybe,
What's the healthcare like in Costa Rica for the Golden Bachelors?
That's a
Good
great,
Great
You're
question.
gonna need good insurance for
that's a
that.
great question.
Yeah.
We filmed The Snake in Argentina, and we were in a place called Iguazu, and Iguazu is like there's a place called the Iguazu Falls, and it's where Paraguay, Brazil, and Argentina meet, and there's the Parana River. And this is the biggest drug smuggling river on earth because it's international water, and those three countries can meet together for the cocaine and get it out into open waters. And so, like, we were just like, the locals were like, yeah, that's a drug boat there. And there was one time I was just watching the river. There was a bloke just carrying drugs down to the boat. So I bought a big bag, and this is how.
You brought it home. Yeah.
But it's it was pretty cool. But the waterfalls there like leave Niagara Falls to shame. They're beautiful, stunning. And the beginning of the show, we start at the waterfalls. Everyone's coming in crates and stuff. It's all very fun. It's exciting stuff.
Wow.
So visually beautiful as well.
Oh, it's visually beautiful. Oh, the set we had was unbelievable. It felt like Indiana Jones or something like that. Like, it wasn't a set. They'd built like structures in the jungle for the challenges and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. But if I ever eat an empanada again, it'll be too soon. I had
too many.
I had so many empanadas. That's the only thing I could eat. This whole idea of Argentinian cuisine, everyone's like, oh, Argentina, oh, the food. It's just a sauce, chimichurri. That's all they've got. They go, have you tried the steak? Yes. In every country in the world, cook steak. You're not doing anything exciting. So you've sliced it up and it's on a wooden board. You put some chimichurri on the side. It's just a sauce that's carrying all the weight of their cuisine. But the empanadas are all right, but you can't have too many.
Do you ever, like, when he's doing bits, I've been obviously to Jim's stand-up. It's incredibly funny. Sometimes he tells a colorful joke that might make some people cringe.
Well, about her.
Yeah, he's even put you in the stand-up.
Oh, he says brutal things about me.
How does that work? Does he run these by
No,
you?
he
Do you find-
doesn't.
oh, okay.
In my new special,
he
I ask
doesn't.
everyone in America if they see her walking down the street to yell out racist homophobe.
And we were in Vegas. We were in Vegas last weekend, and he did that bit. So we were walking through the casino, and I had a bunch of people shouting "racist, homophobe," and I was like, "People are gonna think I'm legit a racist."
They were pointing at us. Of course, they assume it's me and not the brown woman. Come on now,
I would hope so.
They're not going to think that you're the racist.
When he's doing his stand-up, like practicing, you don't comment on any of the material being like, honestly, that one's not that funny. You should cut
No,
that out.
good God, no. And also, he runs jokes by me sometimes, and I don't laugh. And he's like, "You don't get it." He's like, "You have to watch
She
it."
can't see stand up if I just tell her a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Sometimes they
can't. A lot of
can.
people can't. We normally ring up other comics. But when it's on stage, obviously, yes.
Right.
But when you go, oh, this is a bit, because it's not a joke per se, it's a bit. And so I run them past her, but no. But also, look, when I was younger and single, my stand-up was about one-night stands and taking drugs and revelry, right? And now I'm married with kids. The comedy has to come from somewhere. So we all have to earn a living here, right?
Yeah.
So I have to. That's why everyone's like my wife jokes or my mother-in-law jokes, because where else do the jokes come from?
That's true.
So you got to go
But
after the person in
I'm
the
not
house.
offended at all. It doesn't bother me. Like, he says really brutal stuff, and
And we're still here.
we're still here.
It
and
was true. I did a
enjoy
routine
it.
in my last special about when she was pregnant, and she said,
Actually, no, that did bother me a little bit. The thing, the thing
I
is
think I saw that special.
about me looking like E.T. when I was pregnant and not wanting to fuck me. I'm allowed to say fuck.
I wasn't talking about that joke.
What joke are you talking about?
I was talking about the joke when you were pregnant and you were at the baby shower and you said to your friends that you didn't want to have a white baby. You said,
Yes.
I hope the baby's not white. I hope it's a brown baby.
But he left out the reason. I wanted my baby to be on the browner side because we live in LA where there is a lot of sun, and I want some sun
Care
protection.
about, yes.
I don't want to have to
UV
worry about.
index.
Yeah, because Jim gets burns like a whatever the saying is for someone that burns quickly.
I'm a pale guy. I'm a pale guy.
So that was
I'm
the
palest
reasoning
Australian
behind
ever.
that.
So did your baby come out white or brown?
Whitest,
pretty
whitest kid in the world.
Whitest kid in the world. Perfect.
Came out so white.
And I wanted to give him an Indian first name, and Jim was like, "No." Because
You don't have an Indian first name. Why all of a sudden?
I just wanted him to have an Indian first name, but he's super white, so it would have been weird.
What name did you want to give him?
Rajendra.
Rizendra. I can't
It's
say
my
it
dad's
properly.
middle name.
Then your dad should have had it as a first fucking name.
True.
You can't just be her father's first name is Derek,
True.
Okay.
right?
Oh my
and his
gosh.
middle name's Rajendra, right?
Yeah.
And so she wanted to call our kid Rajendra. I went, all right, let's see.
Raj.
Wait,
Baby
so
Raj would have been so
what did you go
cute.
with?
Charlie.
Very white.
Yeah.
Charlie what was his middle
When
name?
you say Charlie, it's very charming.
My last name, Danraj, my real last name, and then his real last name,
Yeah,
Nugent.
because I have my real last name is Nugent. I use my middle name as a stage name, and so it got confusing. So I didn't know what to name my kids, whether to give them my real name, because my wife didn't take my name, so
I haven't
all
got
of us
my
would have
name.
different names. So my children have my stage name.
I mean,
Is
if
that
I,
arrogant? I think that's pretty.
if
arrogant.
I wasn't, well, I got famous from going on The Bachelor, and then so my last name got out. But if I knew I could have a stage name, I definitely wouldn't. I would have changed it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Your last name wouldn't be Files.
No, it wouldn't be Viall. Yeah.
File's a good name though. Why?
It's fine. Sometimes it's Viall, but like a lot of time when I'm like, that's so vile, and it's it's a triggering for me.
So your kids didn't get Nugent; they
Nah,
got Jefferies.
They got Jefferies. Yeah.
Honestly,
It's cool.
Yeah, I feel like you're so famous that like if they weren't Nugent, they would be like, your dad's not Jim Jefferies. Your last name's Nugent. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
would be like made fun of. Like,
Yeah,
you're a
and
liar.
also, okay, so my real name is Jeffrey James Nugent, and I changed it to Jeffrey James for about 3 gigs, and then I changed it to Jim Jefferies, right? And the first time I ever went on, Jeffrey with a G, right? The first time I ever went on stage, the guy went, "Welcome to the stage, Godfrey Nugent."
No.
The Nugent, Godfrey Nugent. There's not even a D in my name. Like, where did you get
Awful.
Godfrey? Like, Godfrey Nugent. And I thought, Godfrey Nugent's not
Gotta change.
not a good stage name. It's not
Gotta
easy to
change
say,
it
Godfrey Nugent.
immediately.
So you have a 3-year-old son. We have a 15-month-old daughter. What has been your favorite age, like, period? Because, like, our daughter's really getting into, like, she's starting to, like, say words. She's walking. It's really fun. But, have you had a favorite stage?
I also have the 12-year-old, so I can tell you all the way up to 12 what
Great.
the favorite stage is. I truly believe the best age with kids is 3 to 5. And you can have a conversation with them. It doesn't matter if they're good at school yet. It doesn't matter because those stresses come.
Yeah.
Right? Also, it doesn't matter how they're doing socially because at 3, you decide they're friends. We're going over to the house and Patty will be there. Hey!
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you make the play dates with your friends and their kids, right? Or they go to preschool and they meet a couple of kids or whatever. So socially, you don't have to worry about them. Education-wise, you don't have to worry about them. They're still discovering things like our kid is going to Disneyland for his 4th birthday and it's miles away. He won't shut up about it, right? And that little bit of those little bits of magic don't happen really after 6, right?
Oh.
And also, and we all know, you know, like Santa's the greatest thing in the world, man. Santa, and my kids are really into Santa, and I love it.
Both of them?
Well, yeah, of course, we all believe in Santa, man.
Yeah, no, of
Santa's
course.
important.
Yes,
Santa's important.
He is.
And
I
it's-
just wondered if because this has happened in my family where like the older siblings think it's cool to like ruin everything for the younger
Oh
siblings.
no,
but-
our oldest is like so cute with the 3-year-old and like wants
Really?
to keep that magic alive. He actually
Oh.
did Elf on the Shelf for him last
Oh,
year.
fun.
And
Elf on the Shelf is real as, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Elf on the Shelf is very real.
Yeah. I love it.
If he's listening.
Elf on the Shelf is the best, newest thing to come out in the last 20 years, I reckon.
What's your elf's name?
He hasn't
Just,
got
I
a
don't
name.
know. He's just Elf on the
You
Shelf.
haven't named him?
No, he
haven't
sneaks
named
into
him.
the house. I
I
don't
didn't
name
know you were
someone who
supposed
breaks
to
into my
name
house.
him.
Oh my gosh, you're Charlie's supposed to name him.
Oh.
No, he hides in different places.
And then it's like, where's Bobby? Where did Bobby come today?
All right,
you
we'll
know?
call him.
Like it's all
We'll
exciting.
call him Agendra or whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
Godfrey Nugent.
Maybe we should do
Elf.
Godfrey Nugent.
Elfie Raj.
How'd you guys meet?
Raya.
Right, I was like, let's think of something.
We both looked at each
You
other
did,
for
you're like,
lie then,
Because
didn't
we
we?
did July because it's so uncool.
She slid into my DMs, and at first, I don't know what you used to say, but I had to be like, just tell people you slid into my DMs. It's fine. It's
I feel
because
like I've always owned it,
it sounds
yeah.
so fucking.
Well,
Yeah.
it's nice. It's nice. You like you met each other. Like you obviously attracted to him, so you wrote to him and all that
Right.
type of stuff. We went on Raya. We went on a date, and we actually just lived like 500 meters away from each other. And I think she wouldn't have gone on more dates with me if I wasn't so accessible. Because you know LA traffic. You know you don't want to
That
drive
was a
across
big
town for a
appeal.
shag, right?
So true.
Right. But because,
You're
because
in
Traffic,
Santa Monica.
I can't.
because I was local, she was like, "I'll give him another go." And actually, I was very impressed because she hardly drinks, and I don't drink at all anymore. It's coming up to 4.5 years now without a
Wow.
drink. And I just finished an episode of the Jim Jefferies show. It was on a Tuesday, and that was always my Friday, right? So I'd always get drunk after the show, do a podcast, get drunk, and then I went out with a few of the crew members. Now, I had written to her and text, and we'd organized the date, and then she hadn't written to me forever. And I, like the old man that I am, I always like to have a phone chat before the date.
Oh, you like a little check-in?
I like to see if you got some banter, if you can
Oh,
chat,
yeah.
not if it's all prepared texts that you've thought about, whether I can actually vibe with you. And then if I can't, I might cancel the date You know what I mean?
All of a sudden you're sick.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
busy or whatever.
Yeah.
Actually,
Anyway, but her being a millennial.
No, this is not true. This is not true.
Okay, she's Generation X. She just
No,
aged really
okay,
well.
stop.
Okay.
No, this is not true. He's gonna say I ghosted his calls and didn't answer
You
because
didn't answer.
no, where I lived in the hill,
She had no service.
the service, so a text
That's true.
came through,
In
but
the
I
hill,
didn't
it's-
get phone
yeah.
calls through
You
unless
still
I was
get
on
a missed call. You could have called me
No,
back.
I
or
really
text or
didn't. I
something.
Did you
really
try
didn't.
to FaceTime audio her?
I
Because that's how
tried
you-
to ring her
You
about
could have
4
done that.
times. It rang out. She didn't answer. I assumed the date wasn't happening. I was like, okay, I know I've overplayed me hand here. I've rang too many times.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
Freaked her out.
yeah.
4 times is
It's kind of
crazy.
psychotic.
Yeah, but we were chatting and texting and stuff, and nothing was happening. And then, so I got drunk. I was out with all the guys from the show, right? A group of blokes, right? And she's like, "Hey, we're still on for this date." And I'm like, "I've been calling you, haven't been responding, so I assumed that the date wasn't happening." And then she's like, "No, I've done my hair and blah blah blah." And I went,
Yeah, I've done my
Ready?
makeup, I've shaved
Literally,
my
I'm
legs,
ready.
I'm
Yeah.
going
"Yeah,
on a
I've done my
date.
makeup and I've shaved my legs, right?" And I said,
I didn't say
"Well,
that.
I'm drunk." I just said, "I'm drunk, right? I'm drunk right now,
Honest.
right? I've been drinking since the middle of the day and I'm drunk, right?" And then she went, "All right, I'll take a couple of shots of tequila to catch up and I'll meet you." And we met at the Den on Sunset,
Oh, wow.
right? Where I was
Yeah.
drinking with people. And I was like, "All right." And then we had a little snog at the bar, like 30 minutes into the date. So, and it all worked out
Is that a
pretty good.
kiss?
Yeah, little snog, yeah. You don't
Little
call it a snog?
No.
That's a British. Australia has a term for kissing that
What is it?
that's real, having a pash.
Oh,
Pash.
love that.
Yeah, we're having a
Pash.
pash. Obviously short for passionate,
Of course.
but
you get
I
pash
like-
rash.
and you get pash rash from the beard.
Oh, yeah.
I even think I heard the term pash in Bluey recently. Wasn't there an episode? where-
Maybe.
Okay, I know. Smoochy kiss they say on Bluey.
Yeah, I like
Smoochie
Smoocher.
The last gig we all saw each other at was the Bob Saget benefit.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
yeah, the Bob Saget benefit.
Yeah.
That was a cool gig, man. That was
Yeah,
cool.
that was
Like
nice.
John Mayer was playing.
Yeah.
And everyone like Jeff Ross, who I adore, was up there, and he spoke so tenderly of Bob, and Kelly Bob's ex was
Yeah,
there.
I met her on Special Forces. That's how I met her.
Oh right,
Yeah.
Mm.
right, yeah, and she's lovely.
Lovely.
She's lovely, and it's like you know, it's funny. I never met. I was friends with Bob for years. Bob had even during COVID had come over to my house a couple of times. And I knew he had a wife, and we had a dinner plan on the books when Bob died. And so that was like we were having dinner in a couple of weeks with him and his wife when Bob died.
Oh, that's
Aw.
true.
And so that was the first thing. We were meant to be having dinner, and she didn't know. But I was like, we did. I can find the text.
Yeah, it's in my calendar.
Aw.
Oh, that's sweet.
But I miss Bob. Bob was a very sweet man, very
Yeah.
kind, lovely man, funny as all balls.
I mean, my biggest takeaway from knowing a lot of people who knew him, I never got I met him once briefly, but just in passing. But I don't think I'll ever be this case because I think plenty of people have negative things to say about me. But like, no one says anything bad about Bob.
He
You're
was
like, oh, I can say one.
no, he was always on. Sometimes that irritates people. He was always funny. And some people don't like that. I like that. I like people who are always funny.
I mean, if you're
Yeah.
actually funny,
yeah,
it's
he-
only
It
annoying
works
when
you're not.
when you're
Yeah.
not.
I had a sitcom on FX years ago, and he was in the episode, and Carrie Fisher was in the episode, and I did a scene with Carrie Fisher and Bob Saget,
Wow.
which no one's going to do that again.
No one.
It's a big deal.
Do that again.
Because we're Star Wars people.
Yeah.
It was before the Me Too movement, and you can check this episode out. But it was from a story. I had a executive in the industry many years ago, slightly Me Too, like do the Me Too movement to me.
To you.
Yeah, we're sort of. I got passed on, not passed on. I got passed at. She passed.
She
She
made,
made a pass at me.
Yeah, there
That's
you
what
go.
I'm going for.
Okay.
I've forgotten how to talk. Anyway, she made a pass at me, and so I wrote an episode about this whole thing. But Carrie Fisher in this episode looks at me and says, "Will you lick my pussy?" Right? And she says it 4 or 5 times in the episode, and it's for me to get a TV deal, my character to get a TV deal. And I do it in the scene. I get under the table, and I was sitting under the table thinking to myself, when I was a kid
Princess Leia.
watching
Yeah.
Princess
Oh my
Leia
God.
in that gold bikini, what I would have done for this moment.
Look at you now. Wow.
And she was the coolest, funniest person. I was telling a story about, I was on Jimmy Kimmel and I told a story about my mother getting deep vein thrombosis, right? My mother got deep vein thrombosis on a luxury cruise, right? Where you're meant to get it on economy seat on a flight, right? So I go on Jimmy Kimmel and I say, my mother got it on a luxury cruise. Most people get it sitting in economy, right? No, I'm on set. I get a phone call from my mother. You have to go back on the Jimmy Kimmel show and tell the American public that you're a liar. And I'm like, what? She goes, I didn't get it on the cruise. I got diagnosed on the cruise. I actually got it at home.
Okay.
So my mum's yelling and screaming at me on the phone. I'm in hair and makeup and Carrie Fisher's sitting there, right? And I turn it on speakerphone so Carrie Fisher can hear. And then I hang up. And then Carrie Fisher turns to me and goes, your mother and my mother are exactly the same person. And I'm like, I'll stop you right there, Carrie. Your mother's Debbie Reynolds, who was in, Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
Right? Who was a megastar. My mum's a morbidly obese woman in Sydney who's got deep vein thrombosis. They're vastly different women.
She's got DVT.
But she was really cool. I've just started talking about myself. Let's go back to Jax.
Wait, quickly, what is y'all's age gap?
13 and a half.
We're 18.
You're 18 years apart?
Yeah.
Oh,
She doesn't look that much older than you, man.
I know,
think you did all right.
we have 90s music in common. That's something we bond over. What are you talking about? In the car, we listen to our 90s English music.
That's the only music that we can listen to the same.
That's the only music where we are both fans.
Yeah, otherwise I turn on get in the Tesla and Sabrina Carpenter's on all the bloody time.
Yeah.
We've
Sabrina.
gotten lucky in terms of like things we like that are on now. We both enjoy. Like we watch the same shows and same stuff, and there's more that we have in common that we enjoy than don't. But yeah, there's just like I always want to show her movies from the 90s or the 80s, and I make her watch it. And
I got to show her Back to the Future.
Have you seen Back to the Future?
I'm sure it was on a list.
That was one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's the greatest movie that's ever been made.
Yeah.
It's the greatest movie on
and it's
earth.
all one movie in the same scene. There's the one scene that's on in every movie, and it's
all one movie?
In a way.
In a way, it's fantastic.
Oh, because it's all continuous.
I tell you what, I was at, I bought a ticket to have a photo with Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox at Comic-Con with my son.
That's
right?
a big deal.
And so we lined up, you had to line up forever, and all the nerds that were dressed like Marty McFly waiting to have the photo. Right now, so we're talking about a man in his 80s and a man who's very sick with Parkinson's, right? These are the two people. And so as you get closer to the line, they're like this, please don't touch them. Please leave them alone. Because, like if you give them COVID, they're both done. You know what I mean? Like just be chill. Just go in there like
Keep
this.
your hands in your pockets.
And my son was, and everyone else was like, in scene 4, the thing, all very Comic-Con-y like that, right? And me and Hank walked in, and I went, Hank, don't touch him. Just be cool, smile, say thank you and hello, right? And Hank comes in and goes, hello, and then stands up to the side. Like this, and we're like this, and then Michael J. Fox looked at him and he goes, and he actually put his arm around him and pulled him in.
Oh, cool!
Right, and put him in, and it's the one photo he's got his arm around my son, and that was pretty cool.
That's pretty.
And then we had a photo with like Hayden Christensen and
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, right? And Ewan McGregor. That was the other photo we did. And I walked in, and I tried to dress like myself as much as possible. Like I was wearing an outfit from a special because I wanted one of those two to recognize me. Right? So that my son would be impressed.
Yeah.
And I walked in and Hayden Christensen went, Jim Jefferies. And then Ewan McGregor went, your dad's a legend. Made my fucking life.
Cool.
Made
That's
my
awesome.
life. That was the best
cool.
day ever. That was the most proud my son has ever been of me.
Oh,
I loved it.
sweet.
That's pretty cool.
I wonder what Rivers will be of us.
I hope she never sees The Bachelor.
Well, she's going to watch The Bachelor.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Look, man, at least The Bachelor is just you snogging different chicks, right?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
My stand-up is me talking about cocaine, right? And skeletons in my closet.
Yeah, but you
Right?
can be like, I'm a comic, and then she's gonna
It's
be
all
like,
fake.
is it real? And I'm gonna be like, I don't
A
know.
lot of the specials, I'm actually on cocaine as well.
Perfect. You're actually doing it on stage in front of everyone.
So yeah, I always worry about that. Like when my kid just had someone say to him recently, one of the kids at school went, your dad's not funny. That
Yeah.
type of thing.
Oh.
And then they're going to start watching the clips. And then there's jokes that I have made about my child
Oh.
in the clips.
Yeah.
It's not easy being a comics family member. It's not easy.
What like advice have you given him around that? Like, don't listen to it. Or are you kind of like, who gives a fuck?
I'm just
Whatever.
like, man, roll with the punches.
Yeah.
People are going to try to find your weak spot in life. That's
Yeah.
just what's going to happen. If it's not this, it's going to be something else. Let them tease me. Better than them teasing you.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, what's the worst thing that you're going to get is like, oh, my dad was really handsome. He was the Bachelor. Like, oh, that must really hurt to my core. My dad was the most desirable man in America for about 3 months.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Then he went on special forces and was held underwater and survived. What a loser. I'd be more worried about the cowboy boots.
Oh, well, that's a great place to end it, huh?
Yeah.
The Snake premieres tonight on Fox. You can check it out on Hulu if you're not one of those people who is watching in real time. But it's a great show. Check it out. Lots of fun. Hosted by yours truly, Jim Jefferies. We got the trailer of The Snake that we're going to play for the audience. Again, a reminder, it is out tonight on Fox at 9 o'clock. If you don't happen to catch it tonight, it does air on Hulu the next day. So check it out either on Fox or on Hulu. Here is the trailer of The Snake.
This is social survival of the fittest.
It's not something I take lightly. I deserve an Oscar for that performance.
The Snake is a masterclass in watching people making friends and faking friends.
I will pick you over anyone else.
And there's a lot of bluffing in this game.
Have I been told I could be manipulative? I am Italian and Puerto Rican, honey. You do the math.
These contestants know how to get what they want, and stereotypes of their jobs play into it.
As a bounty hunter, you do have to be 2 steps ahead.
I'm a pro poker player. I do this for a living.
How do you think being an OnlyFans creator will help you in the game?
You'll have to subscribe and find out.
Each week, they will compete in challenges to become the Snake, the most powerful player in the game. The Snake will choose one player to save, Derek, setting off a chain reaction,
Brian,
until there are 2 left, leaving the Snake with the ultimate decision.
She could be a psychopath.
who's lying to my face?
Every act you do in the game has a consequence.
Every single person in this entire house lied to me.
But you have to screw people over. It's just like life.
I'm flirting. I'm using DelMonte.
If you're not the Snake next week,
Watch your back.
someone will remember.
Shut your mouth.
Try to be kind, try to backstab people.
I feel pretty betrayed.
At the end of the day, it is a game.
The games have definitely begun. Somebody's about to get bit.
Friendships will be broken up.
No one's telling me the truth.
You can never underestimate anybody.
I'm hooked. I'm in.
Ah,
good.
man,
Drama.
who doesn't
That's
want to be involved in that show?
Wow.
Yeah.
It looks
Great. How'd you prepare for that? You get some like a spray tan, maybe like a little. Baby
As I said,
Botox.
I was in Australia. I just showed up. No script, no
great.
nothing. Straight in
Wow.
on the stage. But well, now I can actually. Now that I can see the trailer, I could have said so much more.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a saving ceremony. So one person saves another person, saves another person, saves another person. So it isn't an actual full vote.
Oh.
So other shows,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it snakes down the vote. It's a very unique show in that
So
respect.
the
is
Snake is a play out like
interesting,
a snake kind
Yeah.
of
So like I save Nick, Nick can save
Tasie.
and then
Tasie can save me, but you got to have a friend in the house.
Yeah,
You really got to have
yeah.
2 friends. If you don't have 2 friends, no one's going to save you,
That's
right?
so true.
And people can manipulate. Like if you save Nick, I'll let Tasie save you. A lot of alliance stuff.
Sure.
You know
sure,
what I mean?
sure. Yeah.
But there was a lot of me just in the middle of a field throwing bugs on people. And that at the beginning when she says, when I was shocked when I just watched it, when she went, I deserve an Oscar for that performance. I didn't know she wasn't crying. I just found that out there when I was watching the trailer. I remember standing next to her going, oh, the poor girl's having a terrible time here. I was comforting her.
Oh,
You got
she
bamboozled.
got you too.
After it was over, I was like, you'll be all right. Her name is Catherine, which is Catherine if you say it with a New Zealand accent. Catherine. Catherine.
All right. Well, it looks great. Check it out. It's on tonight or on Hulu tomorrow. Jim, so much fun. Please come back.
I feel like I took over the bloody podcast and we weren't talking what we meant to talk about.
We talked about the Snake.
All right.
Yeah.
I had a great time. That's
Man, you can have me on here whenever you want. I
We
love being on this show.
we love to have you on. Tasie, thanks for coming.
Thank you for
Every
having
time you
me.
come and every time Jim comes, make sure you bring your lovely
Oh,
wife.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
Please.
we can
You're
always
going to come back?
Yeah, we didn't get like to real talk about the Valley and Jax and stuff, and I would
See, next time we'll have you on when it's like real time, like when we can dive deep on an episode. We'll definitely bring you back. Jim, thanks for coming, buddy.
Thanks for having me, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys. Thank you to our guest, Robyn, GirlBossTown, Jim Jefferies, and his wife, Tasie. We'll see you back on Thursday. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.